97.1 FM. Coming up this morning, police intensify investigations to identify accomplices in the Mamprobi Polyclinic baby theft after the arrest of the principal suspect, identified as Latifa Salifu. Meanwhile, the Ghana Health Service has directed all regional health directors to ensure that all doctors and nurses wear their uniforms with their name tags. Also, the New Patriotic Party begins grassroots reorganization after presidential primary as the party employs a bottom-up approach to restructuring. And much later, the office of the National Chief Imam has announced the crescent moon marking the start of Ramadan, as he has been cited declaring the start of the 30-day fast today. Details of these and other stories, please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. I am Enyunam Haliga. Now to our first story. President John Dramani Mahama has visited two victims of the Burkina Faso terrorist attacks currently on admission at the 37 military hospital in Accra. The survivors were among Ghanaian tomato traders on board a truck which was ambushed by armed robbers who lined men on board and massacred them before setting the vehicle ablaze. Now, President Mahama was accompanied by the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, commiserated with them and assured them that their bills will be sorted and absorbed by the government. Now, away from that, the police say it has intensified investigations to identify accomplices in the Mamprobi Polyclinic baby theft after the arrest of the principal suspect, identified as Latifa Salifu. Following the disturbing incident of the reported missing baby at the Mamprobi Hospital, the Ghana Health Service has also directed all regional health directorates and facilities to hereby implement immediate comprehensive security and patient protocol to safeguard all patients, especially the most vulnerable. All regional health directors are to ensure that all doctors and nurses wear their uniforms with their name tags as seen in well-established health facility. Let's take a listen to the Director General of the service.
I have reiterated that all health facilities is non-negotiable. All doctors and nurses should use their uniform with name tags, as we see in well-established health facilities. So that if all the nurses were in their uniform and with their name tags, the lady would have been easily identified, and this wouldn't have happened. The mother wouldn't have been confused to agree that she is a nurse, as she claimed. If we have all our doctors in their uniform with their name tags, it's very easy to identify and say it was Dr. So and so, or it was nurse so and so. So this is non-negotiable, that all health facilities is just a reminder. We are reiterating it. Should always all health workers should be in their uniform.
You heard the voice of the Director General for the Ghana Health Service, Professor Samuel Kaba Akorea. Now, fraud and security aspects, Richard Kumado says all health facilities, especially at the regional levels, need to beef up their security structure.
The security desks in most of the hospitals in Greater Accra is not encouraging. It's either they are weak or they are non-functional. Particularly issues of baby teeth and some other people having access to sensitive areas of the hospital. They will need to do what is right and what is appropriate in terms of security infrastructure and putting in the right investment in making sure that they achieve security compliance in the health sector. Most of the hospital administrators do not have vigilance schemes, and they do not have monitoring systems to know who is on duty, who is not on duty, what is wrong at whatever department, at whatever time. They don't know it at all.
That was security and fraud aspect, Richard Kumado. Now to politics. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagwin, has expressed disappointment in the leading political parties for failing to field a female candidate in the upcoming Ayawasu East by-election. At an event by the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs on Political Inclusion and Consensus Building, Alban Bagwin indicated that he would have supported a female candidate for potential victory because the country needs increased gender balance in Parliament to deepen democracy. Now, he urged political parties to be deliberate about women representation.
Political parties are the gateways to representation. Parliament is the arena where representation becomes decision-making. Therefore, inclusion must begin in parties and mature in Parliament. I was waiting for any party to have fielded a female in the Advocacy East Bar election, and I was personally going to support the candidate because we need more of our women in Parliament. Unfortunately, the parties have disappointed me.
And that was the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Babin. He also stressed the importance of multi-party democracy, calling for a third force to break the NDC-NPP duopoly. Now, the New Patriotic Party is setting the stage for a full-scale grassroots recognition of its presidential primary. The party's National Executive Committee, the party's third highest decision body making, adopted key recommendations from the steering committee and referred them to the National Council for final approval. The move clears the path for internal elections to begin from the polling station level upward. Now, let's take a listen to the Deputy General Secretary for the New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed.
We have not in any day and any form used a top-down approach. It is something that is being set out there. But in our party, there is nothing like bottom-up and top-down. And the party has never adopted a top-down approach. The party thought through the defeat of the 2024 general election. We set up an inquiry system headed by the Professor Michael Quay.
And that was the Deputy General Secretary for the New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed. Now, away from that, the Communications Ministry says it is compiling a docket for the Attorney General's office leading to the prosecution of the Russian national accused of recording explicit videos of Ghanaian women without their consent. The Sector Minister, Samuel Nati George, addressed a news conference in Accra where he said that some of the women captured in the widely circulated explicit video involving the alleged Russian have formally petitioned the Criminal Investigation Department of the Ghana Police Service. He says the CID has since commenced investigations into the matter. Now, preliminary findings, according to the minister, suggest that not all the women seen in the video engaged in intimate relation with the Russian national. The minister further disclosed that the ministry has initiated a process to compile and submit a docket to the Attorney General's office for prompt prosecution.
His first name is Vladislav and his last name is Lyulkov. His passport with which he entered the country will be shared with the media so that his identity is also made known. And let us be clear, not all the women he has publicized were engaged in an intimate encounter with him. Some of the cases that have come to us, he barely met the women at the malls, said hi to them, engaged them, and there is actually no video, per the work the cybersecurity has done in some of those instances, of him and those ladies beyond the mall encounters. However, he splashed their images as though he had intimate encounters with all of these ladies. That is evil.
That was the Minister for Communication, Samuel Nati George. Now, the Office of the National Chief Imam has announced that the crescent moon marking the start of Ramadan has been sighted, declaring the start of a 30-day fast. Speaking on behalf of the National Chief Imam, he confirmed that the moon was sighted yesterday evening. As a result, Ramadan will begin on Thursday, February 19, 2026. In a message to the nation at his residence, he prayed for peace and stability in Ghana and asked Allah to grant Muslims the strength to complete the fast with sincerity. That brings us to the end of the first half of this morning's bulletin. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyunam Haliga. Business News is right up.
Follow us on social media, Twitter at 3FM927, Facebook at 3FM927, and also on 3news.com.
for business news on Sunrise 3FM 92.7. Coming up this morning, staff return to PBC as recovery begins after payment of 4 months out of the 24 in salary arrears.
We were able to do some transactions in the early days of the season, and the returns that we had on it, we use it to cushion them, and they are all back at post.
Also, finance and tax analysts advise government to focus on self-financing projects to curb debt cycle.
I think that we should be prudent with our borrowing. We should borrow for projects that can generate positive NPVs. We shouldn't borrow for consumption.
Much later in this bulletin, senior fellow at the Africa Policy Lens warns rising utility costs threaten the country's disinflationary trend.
If production precedes consumption, then this data is indicating that February consumer price inflation is likely to go up per what the producer price inflation is telling us.
Bring you details of our headlines and other stories. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now to our first story. Operations at the PBC, formerly Produce Wine Company, are showing signs of a revival as staff have returned to their post. The return follows payment of 4 months of salary arrears, providing much needed relief to a workforce that has endured nearly 2 years of financial hardship. Let's take a listen to the Managing Director for PBC, Seydou Yonye.
Even before the announcement of the finance minister, a lot of work had been done through myself and my team and with our board to restore some level of confidence in the staff, having stayed without payment for close to 24 months. We were able to do some transactions in the early days of the season, and the returns that we had on it, we use it to cushion them financially a bit, injecting that hope in them that yes, the president would duly take care of PBC and will stand strong again. So we have been able to give them 4 months' salary. And to be very frank with you, as the president, through the honorable minister, mentioned that PBC was going to be strengthened, every worker around had gained some level of confidence just through what we did and what the message they heard from His Excellency through the minister. And they are all back at post, and we are ready to at least deliver.
There, the Managing Director for PBC, Seydou Yonye. Now, away from that, finance and tax analyst Nelson Kujo-Kwakwechi has urged government to strictly prioritize self-financing projects for future borrowing to prevent the country from slipping back into a debt crisis. The analyst has projected a positive shift in Ghana's international credit following government's successful 10 billion cedis interest payment under the domestic debt exchange program.
The analyst noted that the ability to make such a substantial payment entirely in cash rather than through further debt issuance or payment in kind is a key indicator of liquidity availability. Kwagbeji noted the 10 billion cedis interest payment of the domestic debt exchange program serves as a powerful signal to global rating agencies like S&P, Moody's and Fitch that Ghana has moved beyond selective default into a phase of reliable debt servicing.
I think this is a clear demonstration and commitment from the government that future obligations will be met. It will go a long way to reinforce the credit worthiness of government. It will also help enhance Ghana's credit rating outlook, and so we expect the next credit rating by the various rating agencies to be enhanced. It will also bring back some level of confidence and also help deepen the liquidity in the Ghanaian market. I mean, the market is currently illiquid, and so once people are having confidence that their investment will be paid back, we expect a lot more activity within the market.
Kwagbeji has consistently advocated for fiscal discipline following Ghana's recent debt restructuring, emphasized that new loans must be channeled into sectors with a direct capacity to generate revenue for repayment. The analyst argues that the era of borrowing for general budgetary support or consumption must end.
I think that we should be prudent with our borrowing. We should borrow for projects that can generate positive NPVs. We shouldn't borrow for consumption as we have witnessed in the past. We should also continue with the fiscal discipline and also try as much as possible to raise enough domestic tax revenue to support the annual budget.
And that was a report on finance and tax analyst Nelson Kwagbeji advising the government to focus on self-financing projects to curb the debt cycle. Now, away from that, a sharp spike in utility costs at the start of 2026 is raising concerns about possible reversal of the country's disinflationary trend despite an overall decline in annual producer inflation. New data from the Ghana Statistical Service reveals a cooling of long-term price pressures at the factory gate, with annual producer price inflation dipping to 1.6% in January 2026. A senior fellow at the think tank Africa Policy Lens, Dr. Eric Bachiyandom, has cautioned that the spike in month-on-month producer price inflation by 3.3% could transmit to consumer price inflation.
The figures highlight a shift compared to the same period last year, when producer price inflation stood at 28.5%. While the year-on-year trend shows significant easing, a sharp 3.3% month-on-month increase in January suggests that producers are facing renewed short-term cost spikes. The mining and quarrying subsector, which dominates the PPI basket with a 43.7% weight, saw a slight uptick in annual inflation to 3.7%. In contrast, the manufacturing sector plunged further into deflation, recording a rate of negative 2.2% compared to 0.1% the previous month. Electricity and gas inflation jumped dramatically from 6.1% in December to 14.8% in January. Similarly, water supply and waste management rose from 2.3% to 9.9% over the same period. A senior fellow at Africa Policy Lens, Dr. Eric Bachiyandom, notes the significant easing over the past year is a major victory for fiscal consolidation. However, the January utility spikes remind him that the factory gate is still sensitive to structural costs.
If production precedes consumption, then this data is indicative that February inflation, consumer price inflation is likely to go up per what the producer price inflation is telling us. And there is a need for government to roll in policy. I remember government talked about giving incentivize utility or electricity to reduce the cost of production over 12 months. Down the line, government need to bring in this policy to be able to cut electricity and gas prices for production.
The increases utility sector are largely attributed to the implementation of the 2026-2030 multi-year tariff order, which saw significant upward adjustments in utility prices effective January 1.
Let's take a look at how the cedi is faring against major trading currencies and how some key commodities are also faring on the global market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis. It recorded no change. The British pound is selling at 14 cedis, 91 pesos. It gained 5 pesos. The euro is selling at 13 cedis, 1 peso. It also gained a peso. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at the Forex Bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $70.49 per barrel. Gold is trading at $4,983.69 per ounce, up by $105.80. Cocoa is trading at $3,314 per ton, down by $152.
that was an update from the Forex and commodities markets. That'll be all for business news on Sunrise 3FM 92.7. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyonam Halika. Sunrise continues.
Follow us on social media, Twitter at 3FM927, Facebook at 3FM927, and also on 3news.com.
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the morning.
6 here on the 3FM Sunrise. Thankful that you could stay with us and be a part of our morning as we take you from now to 10 a.m. Myself, Johnny Hughes, Sixu Strong Ulu, Corey, DJ Phil, and the entirety of the team. This morning, we'll share a quick message with you before we get into a song of inspiration. Then we'll return to do weather and some others for you this morning. Now, there was a young man who complained that he had run out of ideas. He said it often to friends, to colleagues, and even to himself. Work felt repetitive. Nothing new was coming to him. And as with all things, boredom stared him in the face every day. One afternoon, while cleaning his room, he found an old notebook at the back of a drawer. Then he discovered another notebook. The first notebook was neat, with careful handwriting and organized pages. The second one was messy, right? Half-filled pages, random thoughts, unfinished sentences, and what have you. He flipped through the messy notebook and stopped. There were ideas there, and very good ones at that. Plans he never followed through on, and thoughts he dismissed too quickly. Questions he never returned to, and a whole lot. As he read, something shifted. The frustration he'd been carrying didn't come from emptiness. Rather, it came from neglect. He had been waiting for new inspiration while ignoring the work he had already started. And by the time he closed that notebook, the problem was clear, without being said. He hadn't run out of ideas. He had run past them. This is how it often happens. We assume progress requires something new, a new opportunity, a new tool, a new season, just a breath of newness. But sometimes movement begins when we return, when we revisit what we abandoned too early, when we take familiar things seriously again. Today doesn't need a breakthrough. It needs attention. Look back before you look elsewhere. There may be something unfinished, waiting patiently for you to pick it up again. And that is today's message for you. It will take us into a song of motivation.
Was a very instructive message from Eric Mawenegbeta. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. My name is Johnny Hughes. Always a pleasure to share read all the ingredients with you morning by morning. Today we'll be engaging the Health Facilities Regulatory Authority, HEFRA, after the baby was stolen from the Mamprobi Polyclinic. We also know what happened at Ridge Hospital. We know that the famous Akaway Hospital or clinic has been closed down, operating without the requisite licenses. Those are just a few, because there are a couple of them. So we'll get into the conversation properly. Will wearing uniforms and name tags resolve the situation, as the Director General of the Ghana Health Service has suggested or has instructed to be done? These are all critical questions that we shall be asking. And the cocoa conversation continues to be that nagging question. The government has been explaining. The opposition has been pouring sand into the gari of government. Cocoa Board themselves have taken some pay cuts for top management and the CEO. About some 20%, some 10%. People are asking questions. Is it fair to the leadership at Cocoa Board, especially knowing that at a time when ECG, for example, was making losses, at a time when Bank of Ghana had issues making losses, did they take a pay cut? And the last time we heard of a pay cut, you remember that 30% from the presidency? The Council of State said, we are giving 20% of our allowances. We were not told where the monies were saved and what they were used for. We did not see the pay slips and how they have dropped. But as I always say, it be Ghana we day. The issues are many, they are numerous indeed. But it's a throwback Thursday as well, so something special will happen in terms of our music choices. Thursday, the 19th of February. Oh God. Today is my mother's birthday. Oh man. We'll get to check out what's happening by way of weather, and then we'll get into the news review segment in a bit. It looks partly cloudy. Weather is a bit chilly. But what more could be there? Welcome aboard.
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the
Let's go now to Felicity Hafianyo, the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Now an authority, is it not? Yeah. Gets into that conversation. Felicity, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Johnny. Thank you too for reaching out to Ghana Meteorological Agency.
Have you received your $1 million yet?
No, I'm still waiting and hoping. Looking at the weather, I know pretty soon it will land.
Now, the weather is a bit chilly, partly cloudy. We can see with our eyes, but we are not the experts. You are the expert. What is there for us to know? Share.
Yes, thanks so much, and good morning to our dear viewers and listeners. Yes, you have observed perfectly. We have the second outburst of the Ramadan wind over the West African sub-region. So we are having the dust and then the cold winds invading. So from now till Sunday, we expect it to be dry and hazy over most portions of the country, including the coastal strip. But then we expect the moisture winds to also come in for the coast and slightly north of the coastline, which is likely to induce cloudiness and possible misty and foggy conditions. Generally, we expect visibility to be on the low side. and we expect it to range between 2,000 meters and 7,000 meters across the country. Temperatures will also be on the low side for the night and the morning hours, but then the afternoon we expect it to be on the higher side, around 36 for most portions over the middle and the northern sectors. Along the coastal strip, it will range between 32 and 34 degrees Celsius.
Felicity, we're grateful. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Great. Oh my God. Very sad indeed. I hear the Minister for Communications, Sam George, say to us that some of the ladies in those explicit videos were actually not in any particular relationship with them, with him.
As in there was no sexual relations.
Exactly, but he just slapped their photos onto the thing to create the impression that something may have happened or might have happened. And it brings up a question of how easy or how cheap it has become, the place of sex in us. We just 2 days ago were talking about Akachi North.
Yeah, in fact, 2 days ago and yesterday as well.
Akachi North, how teenagers were getting pregnant 10 to 14 years. And all the dude had to do was to come into the country and say, follow me. And then you start going with the individual. I don't know what may have pushed them to fall so easily like that.
Yeah.
Some are suggesting that it could be hunger. Some are just suggesting that there's desperation to be connected to Obroni or get into a relationship. Some are even suggesting spiritual connotations, etc. But whatever is worth, it'll be cool.
Well,
it'll be cool.
I have because it's two consenting adults, right? And so did
they consent?
No, for every individual who decided to have any sexual relations with him, it was out of their own free will.
Right.
Whatever the conversation, I mean, you can have a conversation and ask, oh, did they follow him too easily or whatever? But I try to tie this in with our hospitality culture, which we've been known for a very long time, and people benefit from that.
You have been hospitable with your dignity.
No, I'm trying to put this right.
Right.
That in more instances than not, we tend to open up and help strangers. It's until recently where you hear people say that, oh, to wait, there's a lot of danger around.
Right.
You find people easily ready to assist persons who are stranded and what have you. And so that is not quite something that has gone away yet. To the average next person to them who is black, they feel Yasia Yisum is more associated to that person. But to a white person, the guards will be down a lot more. and that's been from where I sit.
Right.
I feel they let their guards down lower as compared to a fellow Ghanaian or something, and easily they followed. As to the rest, they are grown, consenting adults. Even for fellow Ghanaians, they meet people today, and I've had so many stories. I've had friends tell different stories that they met someone today and it happened. And so I will not put that within the context of too easily, because even for Ghanaians, I've read stories, I've had friends who shared similar.
Because Mama will be asking, thing.
You understand? And so I will not want us to. The bane of this is the fact that he recorded without their consent.
That's right.
And shared it without their consent, and subsequently has sought to profit from intimate moment with these individuals. And that is where violations of law takes place. Every other thing in relation to, oh, hi, I like you, follow me, remains within the merit of morality. And those matters, if you are holier than the Pope, then you can decide to engage in. Yes, we can, outside of that, we can have conversations about...
Let's flip the coin.
Right.
And say, a very gorgeous lady comes around you and says, Marina, follow me. Would you follow that man, that woman? No, I'm asking you a question.
I won't follow.
Why won't you follow? Are you not hospitable too?
No, because that's why I said...
Won't you be a consenting adult?
I will. That's why I said...
But you will not follow.
In fact, in the videos that he shared, there were people who didn't follow him.
Right.
There were people who didn't follow him.
But if you look at the numbers,
yes, you can have an argument about the numbers. What it would take for me to decide to follow somebody to assist them will not be, hi, follow me. It will be a conversation and whatsoever, and me seeing reason, right? That's why I say, for every individual who followed, it wasn't just, hi, follow me, and then they followed him. That would have been senseless. But there were conversations which were had, and the basis upon which they decided to follow him. And so I get the point about us having conversations around a bit more in terms of morality, because we are a people who are steeped in culture and expect a certain level of respectability when it comes to how we do things. And so we can speak in another context and ask the question, what happened to the Ghanaian way of doing things in terms of wanting to preserve and do this and put, because even for, and a lot of people can tell the story that for their wives and partners they ended up with today, there is that notion that says, oh, you for rest the guy small. Then the lady will tell you, I want to go and think about it. Even though she likes you then, but they have to create the impression. We've grown up to tales and stories like that, and so questions can be asked, oh, why don't you allow that to, or why are we not seeing that play out even more? Is a fair question that can be asked within another context. But I believe in the nature of how things proceeded, there was no underage person. They willingly consented to whatever it is that may have happened. Yes, there's a concern that he may have used some of them where he didn't even have any sexual relations with, and sought to have suggest in that light that he had something to do with them sexually. But he committed crimes against individuals in deciding to share explicit moments, and for that there will be a need for an answer of some sort.
Okay. I'm 42 minutes after 6. That's 18 minutes to the top of the hour 7. And the front pages are already telling us the stories that matter today. The Overseer newspaper says Cocobot pays 237 million Ghana cedis to farmers for 50,000 tons of sector deepening. Sorry about that. New Patriotic Party set September 18 to 20 for national executive elections. No justice for Santo Kofi Akpafu Lekpe and Lolobi. Comes with a photo of Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni, Jean Mensah, chairperson of the EC, Thomas Wolanyo, Chepo, MP for Hohoi, Fred Agbenyo, MP for Guan constituency, that's Sal, and then Franklin Kujo, a concerned citizen of Sal, as Jean Mensah and deputies survive removal process. Forestry Commission honors 2 ICT pioneers for modernizing commission system, and President Mahama visits Burkina Faso terror attack survivors at 37 military hospital. PBC reopens cocoa buying centers nationwide to restore confidence in the cocoa sector. On the front page of the New Republic newspaper this morning as well, Ofosu Ejari unveils Mohammed's industrial master plan. IMF projects $113 billion milestone as NDC government break economic barriers, and NDC kicks out Ayawaso East rebel. Who is this rebel? We'll find out later. Mohammed's reset message sparks debate in Zambia. NPP flees Cocobot ghost. Edu San leads counter coup to whitewash a $3.8 billion legacy of lost, and 24-hour farm plan hits chieftaincy wall. Okay, now the New Finder newspaper says policy rate could fall to 12.5% as next MPC meeting, according to a financial expert. Bank of Ghana backs banks measures to strengthen sector capacity. Stronger primary balance signal fiscal gains, according to an analyst. And Commander Sugar Factory set for revival as government engages investors. We hear this thing. We're even giving timelines. That Commander Sugar Factory was going to.
We saw a number of timelines, and I can't forget the Commander Sugar Factory because it is a part of my early days as a journalist. Right. In the sense of the word proper. Because I remember I was an intern here at TV3 on the weekend of Key Point. May the Lord bless his soul wherever he is. Dr. Ibrahim Mutala, who was Deputy Trade Minister at the time, came to Key Point, and there was heavy debate about the Commander Sugar Factory, and he promised to bring sugar from Commander the following week on Key Point. I was working on that weekend. And so the government at the time, that was Mahama 1, had commissioned the factory, was working, and what have you. The opposition had challenged it greatly, and he said no, it was working, and there was sugar from there that was going to come. They lost the election. Then the NPP came and said, oh, we've handed it over out to somebody. They're going to start operations. They're going to start operations. They're going to start operations. We never saw operations start. And knew the President Mahama has returned for his second term, and we're hearing that debts and some other things have seen electricity and water cut from the factory, and they're seeking to hand it over to another strategic investor for it to be revamped.
The people of Commander that President Akufo-Addo told them in their faces that I gave you a deputy minister. And you decided not to vote for my preferred candidate.
Absolutely.
So I'm not ready to do this for you.
And again, yesterday when I saw the news, I was telling, was it Kemeni during the news bulletin that this is all we've done to all of the factories which were set up. And
so literally it's political football.
And we've destroyed pretty much everything which should exist to benefit the Ghanaian. Kind courtesy of politics, kind courtesy of players within sectors,
Right.
because let's not forget, importation of sugar is somebody's business, and without any
on 3FM,
disrespect
the
whatsoever,
best in the
wanting anybody's
morning.
business to collapse, there are people or cartels who will fight against
Right.
some of these things. If Commander Sugar Factory were to come on stream outside of the political football that exists, whose business suffers? It is in that person's interest not to want to see the business flourish.
You know, interestingly, and it's good you brought this up. Interestingly, rice, sugar, chicken,
yes,
and a couple of oil, a couple of other commodities have very, very big budgets that are taken out of this country and paid to people to import them, blah, 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 whatever it is. These people are alleged to be supporters of the political class. So it is never in their interest to say that, let's have these things done here. That's one. Number two, this morning people will drink cocoa, people will drink Tom Brown, people will drink tea. The bread that no, they would most likely be eating would have some sugar in it, right? And we don't produce a grain of sugar or cube of sugar in this country. So this morning, if you look at the dining table items that you have, where does your flour come from for it to be used for your bread? Where does your margarine come from?
Absolutely.
For it to be used to bake your bread? Where does your tea come from? Where does your sugar come from? Where does your milk come from? So this morning, we are actually going to consume what we have not perhaps produced and hand the money over to people. And just yesterday or 2 days ago, we're talking about this tomato folks that got attacked
Absolutely.
at the Burkinabe border. And the gentleman said, look, every year we give over $500 million just to get tomatoes into the country. It doesn't add up. A lot of things don't add up to me. The argument that has been made about Commander Sugar Factory is that, we didn't plant the sugar cane before we started the factory, and then some said, the outgrowers were not there, blah, 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 blah. So I said, but if we have all the technocrats, if we have all the champions who make all the fine speeches, who convince us that they know their beans and they can do this, why can't we set up a common sugar factory? And it's not as if it's not been done in this country before. There are stories and there's evidence from back in the day to prove that we had sugar factories, we had tomato processing factory, we had glass factory, we had mentioned them. So what's going on? What's going on?
These are the questions. These are the
and every regime that we have had that has played politics with this has had a trade and industry minister.
Absolutely.
Has had an agric minister. So what's going on?
These are the legitimate questions that demand very, very serious answers.
Yo, what do you have on the front page?
The Ghanaian Times and Ghana's favorite newspaper. The Ghanaian Times leads with no prima facie case established. CJ urges president to dismiss petitions. And these are petitions for the removal of the EC chair, the special prosecutor, and some others. I'm sure we'll get into this conversation a bit more because I didn't see the details of the petition for the Electoral Commission chairperson. Right. There's debate that if there's anything
on 3FM,
south and the fact that the people that did not get a member of parliament during the 2020 elections was a grave injustice done them.
Was a sin.
Yes,
Cardinal Sin.
against the Fourth Republic, as Professor Azar would like to say. And it should not go without a remedy. The courts have not given a remedy because these matters have been in court for a very long time.
That's right.
And
at some point the judges were even changed.
that's why I say I don't want to get into I don't want to jump the gun or get into hasty conclusions. If that was a part of the petition submitted, then I really want to see the reasoning of the learned Chief Justice, because he is an embodiment of the law.
Why don't we have?
Terms of,
yes, of course. But why don't we have a culture of resignation in this country?
Oh no.
You come and tell the people. The SAL conversation is very strange. So the people of SAL voted in the presidential election.
Yeah.
But they were not allowed to vote in the parliamentary election.
I remember very well the statement that came on the
eve of the election.
And there is well documented history of the Electoral Commission assuring the individuals there they were going to vote.
Right.
Until the very last
minute.
The eve to the elections. Then they issued a statement and said, you cannot vote because I can't even recall what reasons were given. But
they said that the constituency had not been created.
They just told them point blank that you will not vote for a member of parliament. You just vote for the presidential.
So for 4 years, the people had no representation.
Yeah, I went there to do a report. Roland was there.
We actually did outside broadcast there. I was there.
Yeah, I visited the area, and it's something they cannot forget and something they found very strange. So in fact, they look forward greatly to the 2024 elections because that was when they had a chance to a constituency had been so properly put together, and they were going to elect their own member of parliament, and that's the constituency of Mr. Hianyo. Fred Agbenyo. Fred Agbenyo as well. I just mixed up the name. And so I will wait to see if that was a part of it. But I asked private legal practitioner Martin people whether or not this will put to bed all the conversations about...
I'm not sure it should put this matter to
It's the same thing he said, actually. He said,
it should not.
He said this was only going to open up for more petitions for
it's
the
not
removal,
supposed to put this... I know the South area because prior to this whole debacle of SAL and whether they can vote or not vote, I had gone to Likpe Bakwa. And previously John Dumelo had done a lot of work there.
He had actually wanted to contest in that area.
And then later he moved to the Ayawaso West Wogon, but if you go, for example, to a place called Likpe Bakwa, that's, I remember very well. There was a hospital of a sort that had been literally abandoned. It was so bad. And I remember John Dumelo, after he saw that story that I did on TV3, he actually made some donations. It tells you how, the people had been neglected. And they had a DC who came and then was just 1 year or so in office and then he died. You remember that as well.
Yeah.
So for that whole period, they have had to deal with a DC that was not present. They didn't have
the DC.
They just didn't have a voice. Charlie. Anyway, what else?
Senate expands welfare services beyond pension payment. Women must be bold, build networks, mentor others, as according to the Vice President. A woman arrested for allegedly stealing newborn from Mamprobi Hospital. On the back page, government rallies support to fast-track off-grid electrification. Deputy Agric Minister commissions mechanization center in the Eastern region. On the front page of the Daily Guide, Ghana's favorite newspaper, 8 cities, CJ rejects petitions for EC bosses SP removal. Government to register churches. Wow. Sorry, on page 6. Burkina Faso terrorist attack. Survivors airlifted home. 8 victims buried. President Mahama visited them yesterday. Mamprobi Polyclinic baby thief arrested. NPP sets guidelines for internal elections. Perhaps I'll get into the CJ thing, but let me go on to hey, there's a story about Sami Jimfi's father-in-law shot dead.
Sunrise on 3FM.
For real?
The best in the morning.
I'm just seeing it on page 2. It says the father-in-law of Ghana Gold Board CEO Sami Jimfi, Mr. Kakari, has reportedly succumbed to gunshot wounds following a robbery incident at his residence in Kumasi on Friday. The deceased was said to have sustained several gunshot wounds during the armed attack and was rushed to the hospital where he was admitted for treatment. According to reports, Mr. Kakari's condition deteriorated while on admission and passed in the early hours of yesterday. Meanwhile, the paper gathered that no arrest has been made yet as the police are hunting for the killers. Other reports also indicate that the killing had nothing to do with Sami Jimfi, who lives with his wife in Accra. According to reports, Mr. Kakari was only a victim of a robbery attack. I was actually skimming to page 6, but I caught
this had caught your attention.
I caught the story, and so government to register churches. The Minister for Local
Rwandan example.
The Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, has announced that the government will establish a national digital registry for churches as part of efforts to streamline data collection and improve oversight of religious bodies operating in the country. Responding to questions on the floor of Parliament yesterday, the Minister said the proposed system will serve as a centralized platform for churches to update their operational status annually, while allowing the state to maintain accurate and verifiable records of religious institutions nationwide. He explained that although churches are currently registered as companies limited by a guarantee with the Registrar General's Department, there is no single consolidated national database capturing the total number of churches in the country. I think this is different from the Rwanda one, because the Rwanda, you have to
get a degree.
Yes, before you can run a church. This one, we are just seeking to have a national database for all of our churches, and then we will be informed.
I have a question. You know how people just wake up and start churches because they say Nyamia friend.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Yeah, you hear that a lot. You have somebody just wakes up the next morning, Nyamia friend. And I keep asking myself that prior to Nyamibe Freo, what did these individuals do in terms of work? Because I've combed through the Bible. All of Jesus' disciples had work to do before Jesus called them to come and follow me. But you have people who literally have not done anything. They have not worked anywhere before. They suddenly find that, oh, this is a lucrative corner, and they tell people, Nyamia friend. And sometimes when you listen to them preaching and you see some of the antics they do, you get shocked that, so do people go to these, sit in front of, and sometimes very respectable people, like they go and sit down for such individuals to have, their way with them and tell them things that they have to do and what they don't have to do. And I get shocked.
It's a very difficult space to regulate because of the religious affairs bits.
When spirituality flies in, common sense flies out.
Yeah. So it's a very difficult space to regulate. In fact, even for some ordinary citizens, they've made suggestions that, look, we want a bit of regulation to police what it is that we see from some of these individuals. But it's been very, very tight.
I call it the Jesus industry.
Oh, yeah.
Because people are profiteering from it. We're in this country when people had put monies into car ties and traveling away with them. You don't remember that? You don't remember that? No. It was a Winners Chapel conversation.
Oh, really?
Yes. The breakaway. Car tie.
Charlie.
Charlie. we've been in this country where people are selling what? Edukromusio. People are selling Famanyaminku. People are selling
different sort of things.
Yesu Moja.
And all that.
And you ask yourself, well, here go be.
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the morning.
Not the same anymore. Crystal sweet, I am something.
And he bought back in the day, the Benz, the round light. It was in vogue. Benz round light suite was. So he had bought some. I think 2 or so. And this pastor comes to him and says, God says you should donate one of the Benz to me. This is my big man friend. He told the pastor that when God told you, I was not there. So because you interact directly with God, tell him to tell me. So that I can hear it, then I can confirm and give the thing to you. That ended the matter.
Is he still attending the same church?
Oh no, he stopped the church.
Yeah, because that's why I asked. Because this one, I'm not sure.
No, he stopped.
Continue to attend the same
church. You come and be eyeing my what do you call it? My round light, my fresh Benz. There's another that they said, okay, own your blessings, claim your blessings. As church member, went to stand by the pastor's car. I claim this blessing, I tap into it. Pastor Ivy Gaman, he said, Jane Lole. Oh my God.
Listen, we've got to walk like a preacher, talk like the
Manche. Nita Kiteko through the second was being involved in an accident.
I think we have the news card out as well.
Yeah, I'm told he's stable now, but roads safe for us. We have a road safety authority here.
Yeah,
we have one here.
Oh, it's Councillor
Amaliba. So we have one here.
He's the one in charge of
okay. And the street lights are working.
As for the street lights, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, she was donating lights to some MMDAs somewhere last week.
Right.
And with all due respect, not good enough because she set clear timelines for herself.
That's right.
She didn't meet the timelines. And even after the timelines, nothing has happened. Our streets are still dark.
What about the road markings?
Exactly.
Traffic lights. Traffic
lights are not working in some areas as well, and there are some areas as well that need installation of traffic lights as well. And so
potholes.
Oh, for that place, it's an industry on its own. We don't construct the road well so that there will be road patching contracts.
Right. You know, there's a pothole on the Ring Road Central. After Paloma.
Yes,
between
I know
Paloma and
that. I know the photo.
You
you're
know
talking
how it
about.
started? It started
Small. Very, very small.
Now it's almost the middle of the road. And there are policemen, interestingly, who stand at the traffic lights right under those trees.
They will catch
there.
you if you cross the red light.
Yes.
I know the spot very well.
And then they will charge you, they'll take you to court and charge you for roadworthy. Your DVLA will be on your neck, blah, blah, blah. But the roads are not worthy of the cars.
It comes back to the question we've been asking. The people who work at the respective agencies,
who tell people they are going to work.
Don't they see it?
They see it.
And all of that. It will come, I'm sure when you ask, it will come back to matters of processes for tender before the contracts can be awarded and what have you. All of those will come up in terms of a defense or an explanation. But you and I both know that pothole began to develop somewhere
about
2024.
About 2 years ago. Yes.
Somewhere 2024. And so it cannot be that we are still going through the process of tender and whatever to fix that. You understand? Some of the problems, the explanations will not make sense. Some of the everyday things we see, the explanation will not make sense. And no matter the justification, it will not.
It started small.
Very, very small. I know that
I have
pothole
seen
very
another
well.
pothole developing on that same stretch, the Muhammad Dubai. When you descend after the traffic light, where I just described, when you descend after the traffic light, I think where former busy internet used to be.
Yeah.
Another small one has started.
Oh, a small. It showed its.
Is gradually becoming what this one has
And it will
become.
rain, and then the water will be in it, and then the cars will step on it,
Yeah.
and it will be expanding.
Yes.
It will be expanding,
Yes.
and then it will become a huge.
Do you see what we
gaping
have
hole.
done to the Dubai? We allow huge trucks
Yeah,
to
this-
go atop, and they've destroyed all the rails. And we watch. You drive on the Dubai in the evenings, and the street lights are off, and everybody is struggling for.
Someone will turn on the
highlights
and it will
blind
blind
everybody.
you.
Yeah.
Actually, it will blind you. So all of these really, and I'm going to cite the example of, I think there's a recent footbridge where a truck driver, one of these huge, and the minister says he will pay for the cost. And I saw people on social media say, "Oh, I mean this one he can't pay. He doesn't have the. Does he have the money to pay for it and all of that? He doesn't have the money to pay for it, but he went to.
He went to use it.
He went and drove that thing and destroyed it. In fact, if you go through Achimota,
yes,
that part of town as well. When you, the new overhead, the concrete is being scraped off, and the metal, which was used for the concrete slab, is beginning to show as well.
So what we do is that we allow the trucks to overload. We allow them to be bigger than the required height that we're supposed to have, and they destroy these things. But Mawena, I can tell you on good authority that these axle load folks, right?
Yeah.
They always have to check and authorize and say that, confirm that you are fine, you're within the limit you can drive. There are police MTTD officers on all these roads we are talking about.
So how come they allow them to?
There's road safety people on all these roads. Now guess what? When these same trucks get to the Burkina Faso border, or they get to the Ivorian border, they offload the things and sometimes split their goods into 2 or 3 trucks, because the Burkinabes, the Ivorians, they will do French law for you and finish you.
We are the ones who allow anything just to be.
We allow any and everything. And I mean, how much do we even charge them for using these heavy loads to destroy some of the vehicles are not from Ghana, right? They're just using this as the thoroughfare passing through.
Because our ports, and then they just journey up north. They just journey up north.
Man, Ghana. Anyway, now, baby thief.
Yeah, let me see if I can get details of the story.
This is part 2 of Baby Thief, right?
And so yesterday, the news was everywhere. This story is by Fifi York from the Daily Guide newspaper. The Ghanaian Times as well has a copy of it. I think they have a version of account from the police, but I think it's all the same. So the Ghana Police Service has arrested Latifa Salifu, a 33-year-old suspect in connection with the alleged theft of a 4-day-old baby from the postnatal ward of the Mamprobi Polyclinic in Accra. The arrest was made after the police service launched an investigation to apprehend the suspect and retrieve the baby, following the trending of a viral image showing the suspect captured by the hospital's CCTV, allegedly wrapping a baby in a cloth and getting out of the healthcare facility. According to reports, the newborn baby was stolen from the polyclinic hours after the mother underwent a cesarean section. CCTV footage captured the suspect fleeing on a motorbike. Later that afternoon, the baby's relatives stormed the facility, accusing hospital staff of being involved. Heated confrontations were recorded on video, with one family member alleging the child had been stolen to be sold. Hours later, the Ghana Police Service, in collaboration with the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Abilikuma South, West and Ododio members of Parliament, reunited the newborn mother with the child. The police further disclosed that the suspect has been arrested and is assisting with investigations. Let me see if the
what will make anybody
Ghanaian
steal
time,
another person's
so
baby?
there is a backstory that's coming through, which we are awaiting confirmation and verification, which will throw all of this into fresh perspective, right? Because there are concerns about authorization from HEFRA for the hospital, right?
I will hold HEFRA this morning.
And what we are learning is that Mamprobi Polyclinic actually does not have certain certifications from HEFRA.
That's a public hospital, right?
Yes.
A polyclinic.
So what the police told us yesterday was that the arrest was made upon a tip-off.
By a supposed sister, or
a supposed sister,
a relative of
this woman. That's one thing. But there are concerns about the woman having to undergo cesarean section.
So she'll be weak.
Yes, and also claims that there were hospital bills that had not been paid, and close proximity of this alleged thief to the husband of the wife and all of that. So I'm saying that all of these have to be confirmed for the story to be put in proper context for a conversation to be had. But for now, a baby thief has been arrested and investigations are ongoing.
Some say we should pardon her and let her go for psychiatric evaluation and not push that she be punished.
I strongly disagree.
Some say that, well, maybe she did out of desperation. She was looking for a baby. She can't conceive. So
you understand?
9 months. Somebody's 9 months worth.
I completely disagree. We cannot, in one breath, be angry towards someone for doing something wrong, then another breath will be making excuses. Do we want to apply the law or we don't? You understand? And so I don't want the excuses, mental, what. Yeah, by all means, an evaluation should be conducted, but more often than not, we are seeing some of these.
Somebody who has mental issues can confidently walk into a hospital, locate a ward, and locate the baby who has just been born, and take the baby away, hide the baby, and try to sit on the motorbike to flee.
They sat on the motorbike and fled, actually.
You can't tell me that, though. You can't tell me that. If we are to activate the phone lines now, and the women are supposed to call to tell you what they go through during labor, pregnancy, and even before labor, the medicines that they have to take, blah blah blah. I have 2 boys, so I know.
You were there. You were in the labor room.
Exactly, and Charlie, it's it's not an easy thing. It's not a joke. So for somebody to have gone through all of that, and then suddenly this happens and you tell me, no, you can't tell me this story. You can't tell me this story. Very, very true. Yeah. So the manager is summer. Only pay. Onya obeya. Oyipa oyengo. Baby. The party. Now, you know, this excuse that is trying to filter into the conversation is the same way we treat people who go and steal. Like, oh, and if you mama found in police station, we did say, if you ask him, what? Somebody defiles a child, and we say, oh,
a lot of these are not reported. I recall somewhere last year, was it last year or 2 years ago? Sarah Apenko, our colleague, had a scoop about a man who was living with a wife who had stepchildren,
right,
and had defiled
all of them,
impregnated the girl, and the police was not interested because they were seeking to do it in Fiasem and what have you. And there are so many of such stories that go unnoticed, and all that even constitutes the teenage pregnancy conversation we're having yesterday.
Look, people still are living in abusive relationships, marriages, and some opinion somewhere will say, oh, in Jawari, so it doesn't make sense.
And all those things happen and excuses are made of.
I remember very well.
Marina,
I did a story on 19 boys who were sodomized by their social studies teacher at Kopi.
Natagma
Yes. 19 boys who were sodomized by their social studies teacher. This social studies teacher is supposed to be teaching the children how to live right and be responsible citizens and grow into responsible adults. And he was the one who was sodomizing the boys. I remember very well when I broke that story. The gender minister at the time had left, and when she came back, she was speaking slang. She didn't care about the conversation. The police themselves did not really care about the matter. And you know, per the law, if you are defiled, sodomized, raped, whatever it is, the cost is literally on you, right?
Yeah.
You are giving the
medical
form to go to the but.
I think we've made progress on that score, where if you're a victim of rape and defilement, you're not supposed to pay.
Right.
You're not supposed to pay for the examination, the medical examination that's supposed to be done. I can't just readily recall whether or not it's been steeped in law now, but I know there was a directive of some sort which existed that the extra burden, because it was a conversation we had. You'll be defiled, you'll be raped, a crime committed against you, and then when you go, you must pay.
You must pay, yeah.
For that examination. I recall the gender ministry. Perhaps we'll have to ask again whether that's been steeped in law. Was that when you go for such examination, you do not pay. You do not pay.
I remember so well how those boys were ignored, and I had to talk about it morning by morning, almost every day, before something happened, before the gentleman. And apparently we understand that he was also supposed to be the school worship. So on Wednesdays, he is the one who is supposed to be leading the whole school to be praying and teaching them about morals, but he was sodomizing the boys, and we all kept quiet. And when the matter came up, people started suggesting that, blah blah blah. I said, so why do we do that as a country? We know that what the person has done is wrong.
Yeah,
we admit that it is wrong, and then we want to treat it with kids' gloves, a slap on the wrist, or maybe turn a blind eye, ignore it, and the person will go back and do the same thing. Because look, if you have somebody who is abusive towards, for example, children, defiles them, he does first one, they say, the likelihood that he will do it again is very, very high.
Yeah.
Very, very high. Like those fathers who don't respect themselves and sleep with their own children. This is why if you catch them straight into the cooler, straight, people defile what? Children, 6 years. What is attractive about a 6-year-old girl to a grown adult? What is attractive about that?
It beats the mind. It beats the mind. But we increasingly have these conversations every now and then, and it's one that perhaps I don't know. I'll be very honest. But there are some messages from our friends on Facebook. This one from Philip Abuchi says, "Good morning, my good friend Johnny and Marina. The woman who sold the baby a few days ago must be arrested. She has now. Based on my observations, there were connections between the nurses and the woman. The nurses on duty must also be arrested. This is a total criminal offense. The woman must face the law." And he decides to Jifa Gumashi. He says good morning to her and Honorable Waklachi, MC of K2 South, Philip Abuchi from Keta.
Honorable Jifa Gumashi, good morning to her as well.
Yeah, it says only God knows, maybe uncountable. Okay, I can't get the head or tail of that message. Sefi Amoklu also has been reacting to the conversation about the loaded trucks. He says that I've seen an overloaded truck under the Achimota overhead, and because their load got stuck under the bridge, and they were cracking the bridge, What he's saying is that they were
trying
scraping,
to break it so that the car can move.
Yes, they were breaking it so that the vehicle can move. And that bridge. There are police officers there every time who are holding their phones and they are checking license and insurance.
That's right.
Of
star 920.
Yes. I want to know if Sefiamo can get, but I want to know if the police were there on that day when they would most definitely people were doing that rubbish.
Because you see, that bridge actually connects onto the N1.
Yes.
Right. So if you destroy the structural integrity of that building, then you are putting a lot of lives at risk.
We'll be there one day and it will collapse on one of the track people. And then we'll start rallying and be asking questions. Because until the stretch on the Labadi, the Labadi Royal Hotel, until it was fixed when Honorable Governor Kwame Agboja, every day people were saying, in fact, when you were driving on the metal railings, you could see what's the name of the lagoon? Peshi Lagoon. You could see it. And we were driving over because there was no alternative. And people were driving until a day something would have happened. We know about what is happening there and other such instances. Everybody will be quiet. then a national disaster, and then we'll start rallying. Never again should this happen. Never. Don't we learn?
Maybe we are doing remedials. Oh my God.
form a political party to win power, so that ideas that you have will be implemented. So if they don't come together, how would we win the power? That means these are people who don't lead the party well. Those who lead the party well, after all, only one person can win. The four are obliged, and that's why we had an undertaking signed by all of them and a commitment made by all of them. And we will not allow them to sabotage in any way. And I believe that the people themselves, the contestants, will not do anything that will be injurious to our unity. At the end of the day, we all belong to the same stables, as I say, and so I think we should be able to do so.
From the previous, 2023, we had someone like Alan Shermatin, who was also part of the process, who signed this peace pact, but then at the end of the day, he opted out. Do you think this will work as?
It should work. In all situations, there are deviants, and he was a deviant. He just left the place and he's gone. But I expected that we can't get 100% commitment to all the things that he's doing. So it was quite disturbing, but we have done the best that we can for Ireland, and if he did not appreciate it, then that is all. So I don't think we shall repeat the same thing again. I don't think so.
What would be your last advice to the general populace in the MPP, especially the delegates and those involved?
I think that all of us have to, after voting, have to come together and begin to reorganize ourselves from all levels, from the polling station level all the way up. And as I said, we are one of the same people, we belong to the same club, so I don't see why people should be creating problems.
That's Hackman Owusu Ajiman. He's the chairman of the Council of Elders of the opposition NPP. And yesterday, the general secretary as well announced timelines and guidelines for the party's internal elections. Let's get onto the phone lines and speak to Richard Ahiagba. He's the director of he's the director of communications, I should say, of the party. He's joined us this morning for a bit more in terms of these timelines and the approaches and guidelines as well to guide the entire process. Mr. Ahiagba, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on the 3FM Sunrise.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Right. And so yesterday we saw, or we heard, big announcements from the party in terms of the entire reorganization bid. Talk to us in terms of the timeline of these activities and what you're seeking to do.
Thank you very much. I think that we are now on our way to dealing with the last remaining set of elections in our party reorganization process. But before then, we've pondered how to situate our party membership such that becomes the basis for the elections. You know, all our elections starts from the polling station and it graduates to the national level. And before we can do that, we have to have the polling station album created. One of the few challenges we've been having in trying to ascertain membership is to know truly who our members are, because that is the nucleus at the polling station of our party. And so therefore, this rule allows us to, first of all, deal with the fundamental issue of getting our membership situation addressed. So from the 1st of March all the way to the end of March, we're going to be working on that situation, dealing with the album of our party. So everyone is supposed to go to their polling station to have their names written in the polling station album, and then confirm that indeed we are members, or I am a member of the party, and linked to that polling station. That is the first order of business. And once we situate that, then we'll carry on with the actual elections, which is the polling station election that comes first. and then we'll graduate to do constituency, region, and then national ultimately.
Right. This registration of members and a coming together of members, is this informed as well by the Professor Michael Quay committee report, considering that I had an engagement with a former member of parliament for Swami, the Honorable Osechi Mensah Bunsu, where he, amongst many things, explained that membership at the base level and knowing who was an MPP member, even at the base level, was a challenge. And that constituted a major threat in the 2024 elections. And so that is informing this decision to know members and account for them even before the rest of the elections will follow.
Yeah, it's always been a challenge and probably work in progress. Let me say it's work in progress rather than a challenge. Because really the party grows every day. And on account of that, you want to be able to keep a current register of all members. And this is probably one of the reasons you see that the party has moved toward using or requiring some level of education at the police station, where the secretary would have to have a minimum of an SHS qualification to be able to become secretary. The reason simply is because we want to be able to have proper documentation, which documentation will give us the occasion to have people be able to help keep this register and make it work for us. So that's really the reason. But it's not a deficit necessarily. It is opportunity for us to be able to have proper documentation. But you will agree with me that on a daily basis, people are moving to a particular police station, especially if you take a place like Greater Accra, for example. Such movements occur on a daily basis where I find a new apartment or a new house, I move from this police station to the other and the rest of it. So the idea now is to consciously track that and have that become a priority to inform everything we do upward. So it's work in progress more so than a challenge.
And for the rest of the elections, you've spoken about the polling station and what have you. Are we to see all of that come through and then election of national executives this year, or that could roll over into the coming next
Absolutely
year?
no. We're likely to terminate by the time the guidelines that have been brought. We are likely to terminate all our internal arrangements by September this year, which will be the election or the selection of National Executive Committee members in September. So all our processes will end by September this year.
And the General Secretary announced that this will be a bottom-up approach as compared to, because initially the party had stated that they were seeking to elect the flag bearer first for everything to follow. Is there an explanation as to why now the decision has been made to do it bottom-up?
There's no such thing as bottom-up or top-down. Normally, we'll do our police station election. This is the norm. And so we're selecting the executives from the police station. They form the electoral college to elect the constituency, the electoral area, and then elect the constituency. Then the constituency forms a college to elect the regional, and then constituency region forms a college to elect the national executives. So that's how we've always done it. The only case perhaps you are referring to is the idea that we elected our flag bearer before coming to constitute the party. The presidential election is governed by a whole different article, which is on its own, that falls squarely, has the National Council of our party has a mandate to determine when that should be done. So National Council, in its right, has selected that we do the presidential primary first, and that's what we have done. It doesn't really make it a top-down or bottom-up. So we're just doing what we ought to do by voting from police station, and then they form the basis to elect the rest of the officers of the party.
Right. Let's talk about albums, and that's an important aspect of the entire reorganization bid. That has come up for quite the debate from time to time, every election cycle. Does the party have this sorted out going into these internal elections? Because there are those who make the argument that, look, depending on who you're able to get into the album, then you can make a case for whether or not you continue to be an executive and what have you. And it brings about a lot of animosity.
Very well, very well. And if you see in the regulations that have come, a very conscious effort is made to ensure that the process is balanced and that some of the usual antics by some unscrupulous elements to try and orchestrate a certain presence of people on the album that advances their interest is largely minimized, if not completely extinguished. So the procedures that have been brought now have in them inherent measures to check any such excesses by people to try and populate the album with people who are friendly to them. Because I think that...
So now there are guidelines as to who constitutes a delegate and can be in the album.
So essentially what we are doing now is to constitute that album now. So the process that we have announced today, the procedures that have been announced yesterday by the General Secretary, on one hand, how we select the polling station officers, the processes that we must go through, the do's and don'ts of it is what has been listed out. So now before, for example, the constitution of the committee that deals with the election or the selection of polling station officers was a bit loose. But now it is specifically tightened that, you have a committee that regulates that. Now, that committee is selected very carefully, and they've been given a strict time space within which to do the election. Now, where, say, for example, we take a constituency like my constituency, Ketu South, for example, with the number of polling stations we have, every polling station will come under an election committee, and every election committee is entitled to elect up to 10 polling stations. Typically, that will be an electoral area. Most of the electoral areas have up to about 10 polling stations. So we have multiple election committees that would do that. But before, you have one committee that does all the election. The tendency to influence and try to populate and control the process is very high. But now the whole process is segmented, and we are able to check, and there's full visibility in terms of what work they are doing. So I think this process is giving us a good opportunity to actually deal with some of the missteps that earlier on contributed to some of the disaffection in the party, because people felt that they were unfairly treated, they were removed by some rough tactics, and so therefore affected internal cohesion. Those issues are catered for in this guidelines.
And where are we on expansion of the electoral college because of these concerns of vote buying and the fact that persons or party members must be given the opportunity to vote and elect leaders and representatives at every level?
Well, on expansion of the electoral college, I think we have achieved a very big step forward following our conference at University of Ghana Stadium on the 19th July when we amended our constitution. That expansion happened where now we have 7-member polling station executives, adding 2 electoral affairs officer and communication officer at the polling station. Before then, we had 5. At the electoral area, we had just about 1 person who coordinates the 10 polling station or so in the electoral area. But now we have 5, so additional 4 has been added. Before, we didn't have our former MPs vote. Now they are voting. We've expanded the electoral college significantly with that amendment. So what you are saying is that going forward, we'll probably have to look at expanding it even further. The committee actually proposed, incremental expansion. So I think that we've taken the first step, and going forward, that expansion would continue. But for now, we have achieved a measure of expansion that is commendable, and we must work on improving it in the future.
And for everything that you've said, the understanding is that by close of year this year, you have all of your regional and national executives elected. Then will come the subject matter of MPs and what have you. That is scheduled for 2027, or it could be in the election year.
Yes, exactly. So that will be scheduled later. Currently, the current rules and regulation and timeline didn't provide for the selection or election of MPs or parliamentary candidates for now, but that will come at a later date. But by that time, you would have the electoral college in place for their selection, which is the polling station and the constituency executives. Even now, I am able now even to vote in that election in my constituency as a national officer of the party. That is part of the expansion that has been brought about. So that one will be done much later. I think the provisions for that will be brought when it's ready.
I cannot have you talk just about the NPP's internal elections. Yesterday we had news as well coming through about the petitions for the removal of the Electoral Commission chair and her two deputies, as well as the special prosecutor. For you in the NPP, the CJ says that no basis or evidence to have them removed. Justifies your position that there was nothing wrong with these persons and their conduct, particularly for the Electoral Commission during the 2024 elections, and so any attempts to have had them removed would have amounted to politicization by the NDC.
So I think that is for me is no news, essentially, because there's no cause for it. The NDC created this little bubble that everybody felt that there was something amiss, but there's nothing. What is more important following this is to ask the question, so what happened with the Chief Justice? There was no basis before, so to remove the Chief Justice. So really, this whole thing, we've come back to base, really. This is where we ought to be. Our institutions must be allowed to evolve. There is no institution in this country that is perfect. Even the presidency is not perfect. And so when we are working to strengthen and improve our institutions, you don't expect that this very rude interventions to dismantle our institutions, which the president occasioned with the removal of Chief Justice. So I think that the Chief Justice, Paul Bafo-Boni, he's done the right thing. He's just affirmed everybody's sentiment and belief and knowledge that, while the EC may not be perfect, they have not done anything egregious to constitute their removal. And I say that the same is true for the Chief Justice, Justice Tokono, who has been removed, and for reasons known to President Mahama and the NDC. But clearly, there wasn't any basis to remove her, as there is no basis to remove the EC.
There are those who say that this is not the last of petitions that would come towards seeking her removal, and more individuals will be seeking to petition for the removal of the EC chairperson. Will that, in your view, and for the NPP, amount to an abuse of the process? Though there are those who hold the opinion that, look, this is a constitutionally laid down process, and if people have basis to believe persons should not be in office, they have every right to test the law, and more of such will come.
Absolutely. I am not averse to people in our democracy leveraging the provisions that are there, and therefore use that to strengthen our democracy. So you see, if you peel away the perceived political intervention that we see from the NDC, particularly in the removal of Chief Justice Tokono, if you peel those away and you just assume that we are a society that is seeking to build forward, and our commitment is to make sure our institutions are working independently and in the interest of our people. Then if anybody is there who has a question to answer and there's provision in law to have them answer, and if they are not able to explain themselves or their conduct constitute a basis for their removal, by all means, let's do that. Except that where it becomes a political effort to, actually make that intervention, that's where it's a problematic situation. So going forward, if there's a basis to remove anybody, even including the president, the process must be initiated. What we are opposed to is the overt, covert political effort to try and disrupt the institutions because we feel that doesn't serve our political interest. That is not democracy. That is interventionism. That is aimed at making the institutions weaker so we can control them, which is what we saw in the removal of the Chief Justice. But if in the future there's a basis to petition the removal of EC, by all means, citizens must take advantage of the provision and exercise their right. And if it be the president or Chief Justice, let that be, but it shouldn't be motivated by people's politics, as we saw in the removal of Chief Justice. So by all means, people should use the law, but it's not to be leveraged by politicians to advance their political interests. That's just a concern.
Right. Just quickly on the special prosecutor as well, because he was also a subject of petitions, and in fact, not all the petitions against the removal of the Chief Justice of the special prosecutor have had a conclusion drawn by the Chief Justice as to whether or not a prima facie evidence has been found against him.
Yeah, I mean. So let the process. Can you hear me, my brother?
Yes, I can.
So let the process roll on. Whatever the determination is, I say let the chips fall where they may. We must allow our processes to work, and we must all be committed to saying that let's not that process be abused by politicians sitting in some dark rooms making efforts to try and disrupt the sanctity or the independence of our institutions for their benefit. But if truly and honestly you determine that the way EC has done its work, the way OSP has done its work is contrary to law or is contrary to common sense, and therefore they are not deserving of that office, by all means, let's remove them, because they are not the only Ghanaians who can do the job. We want them to operate above reproach. And if they are not meeting that standard, by all means, let's leverage the process and have them be removed. But for me, we must always come to the point to say that let it not be somebody's politics to remove people because they feel that by removing them, their politics will benefit. That is wrong, that is undemocratic, and that is not good for the future of our democratic institutions.
Ms. Ahiagwa, I appreciate you joining us, but we want to talk to you a bit more, God willing, tomorrow. I'm throwing an open invitation that it will be lovely to have you in the studio tomorrow for our weekly review as well.
Anytime, my brother.
Right then, I appreciate. And so I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Let's confirm and then we can arrange for it, please.
Right. I appreciate you. That's Richard Ahiagba. He is the Director of Communications of the opposition NPP, speaking to us this morning, not just on the party's internal reorganization, but also quick thoughts on the petitions for the removal of the Chief Justice and the Special Prosecutor, and the conclusions. The CJ says, no, did I say Chief Justice? No, I meant petitions for the removal of the Electoral Commission chairperson and her two deputies, Dr. Eric Bosman Asare and Samuel Tete, as well as the Special Prosecutor, Kisie Jabing. Conclusions were drawn on them, and we know that the CJ says no prima facie determination was made, and so that is where it ends with respect to those petitions. We know there are other ones, particularly in relation to the Special Prosecutor, because yesterday we engaged private legal practitioner Martin Pebu, who says that his petition, for one, has not been dealt with by the Chief Justice, and so his expectation is that that will be dealt with and then he will get to know what comes out of it for a conclusion to be drawn in that regard. I'm just going to take you into Parliament just briefly for some excerpts in relation to conversations and development from there as it transpired in the House. And there's an interesting bill. The dual citizenship bill, which is currently before the legislature, has been referred to the committee, amongst many other things, is gaining publicity and quite the conversation on social media. A number of Ghanaians, a number of you say you do not want the position of the law in relation to dual citizenship to change because of a number of reasons. Some have cited an inability to prosecute persons for corruption as basis to say that, look, we haven't been able to prosecute, and someone even cited the former finance minister, Ken Oforiatta, who the country has not been able to extradite into the jurisdiction, who doesn't even have a dual citizenship, to answer for questions and matters before the court. What happens to persons who will hold dual citizenship and will then, upon when we want to exact accountability, will have to leave? These and more are the conversations, but let me just take you to Parliament and bring you excerpts of some of the conversations from there yesterday for our listening in.
Applicant paid the chair for motion 21. That was the application. That's why I want clarification. He said we should move to motion 21. So, Mr. Speaker, I just want to be guided.
Mr. Speaker, indeed, yes, I pray, Speaker, that we take motion number 21. But the decision is that the bill will have to be referred to the Winnowing Committee. And so, motion number 25, in accordance with our rules. So motion number 25 will have to be moved. So, Speaker can give the direction referring the bill to the Winnowing Committee for consideration.
Yes, Speaker, with respect, I want to be on the same page with the Majority Chief Whip. His application was to the effect that we should take motion 21. And now he has changed his mind and he says that we need to do motion 25, and the motion 25, I do not see the rule upon which he mounts that motion 25. He says that there's a motion 25, and he's mounting his application on some rules of this House. Mr. Speaker, it is important for the Majority Chief Whip to specifically refer to the order in the rules book upon which he mounts his application. We are interested.
Honourable members, with all due respect, if you look at Standing Order 1681, and if I read, Winnowing, that's the head note, where a bill has been read a second time and substantial amendments have been proposed and published on order paper, the Speaker may refer the proposed amendment for winnowing. And by the order paper, we have a substantial amendment. That is the reason for which I want to refer the bill to winnowing. Yes?
Speaker, I don't have a problem. Mr. Speaker, I don't have a problem with that. I have seen the 25, and I believe that this winnowing must be done. because I have some amendments myself that I would want to discuss it at winnowing. But the issue here is the applicant said motion 21, and the impression he created was that motion 21 had a relationship with motion 25. That was the impression I got. That is why I asked that he should clarify. He should clarify.
Speaker.
Yes. Majority Chief.
In all humility, it does appear to me that the minority leader was not paying attention. Because when I prayed you for motion number 21 to be taken, the decision for motion number 25 to be taken was from the chair. So my duty was to be guided. My duty was to be guided. So I had no obligation to mount that application based on the rules. In any case, in invoking order 168 was not necessary. Speaker has already given a direction. So we ought to follow. So if you had paid full attention, you would have realized that the arguments we were making was ready to nowhere. Speaker has already directed that as a result of the decision that we were referring the bill as it is to the winnowing committee, motion number 25 to be moved. And so would it be. So it was absolutely not necessary for you to take the path that you are taking. With all due respect, my leader.
Speaker, the majority chief whip knows that I am a senior in this chamber. So even if he disagrees with me, Mr. Speaker, as you normally entreat us, he should find an amicable way of dealing with such disagreement. But if he says that I wasn't paying attention to the heat, now let it be for the records. Mr. Speaker, you see, sometimes when I disagree with you and you draw my attention that there's a better way, we do the right thing and we reconcile. He is our junior. You and I came into this chamber before he came. So you don't disagree with your senior, then you say he didn't pay attention. There are ways of managing your seniors in this house. Mr. Speaker, especially when now he's left alone. His boss has left him, and if he doesn't get the appropriate cooperation, he knows how difficult life would be. So, Mr. Speaker, he's advised.
You can see me for your guidance. You say you need my guidance, and I say you can see me for your guidance. So I will call on the minister to move the motion number 25.
That's the deputy majority. No, that's first deputy speaker speaking there, and we'll just do a bit more in terms of excerpt from Parliament just briefly, and then we'll return with a big conversation for you here on the 3FM Sunrise, and quite some interesting spectacles. I was talking to you about conversations about the dual citizenship bill. It's a private member's bill currently in Parliament, which is stoking quite the debate amongst Ghanaians on social media and elsewhere. But I just want us to hear from members of Parliament again, or rather, maybe we should be hearing from the Communications Minister Sam George on a number of things, different array of what we can be listening to in terms of conversations from Parliament and government ministries and agencies as well. But I'll just take you to Parliament again for the local government minister and Minister for Religious Affairs answering questions on the registration of churches, because we're talking to you about this one this morning as well. and what we can expect in that regard.
An answer that metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies will be called upon to take registry of churches within their jurisdictional areas. And I think the Honorable Deputy Minority Leader his suggestion or question, if not rhetorical, is in confirmation of the answer I gave, that the MMDAs have a role to play. And Mr. Speaker, if you go to every metropolitan, municipal, or district assembly, we have an association
Why are you answering complex?
Churches. So, taking registry of the churches within the area, we could fall on the association of churches, and it will be easier to be done. So, Mr. Speaker, that will be done, and it is possible. I know that is what you wanted me to say, and I've said it.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Minister's response indicates a sidestep of the PNDC law for the Companies Act, under which the churches are registered now. The PNDC law, I know, is not repealed. Does it mean that the churches are in violation? Does it mean that churches are in violation of this PNDC law? And what are the sanctions?
One member would disallow the question trying to convert the minister into a judge. Ask another question.
Mr. Speaker, I don't have any other questions.
Very well. Let's move to question number 675. Standing in the name of Dr. Zaneto Ajiman Rollins. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I have a permission to ask the question on her behalf.
I'm not supposed to grant permission.
I have the authority.
Very well. If you have the authority, go ahead and ask the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs when the Novotel market will be rebuilt.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, following the fire outbreak that ravaged the Odona market on 20th November 2020, the ministry received from the Clote Kole Municipal Assembly through the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council for consideration and onward submission to the Ministry of Finance a proposal from BNAB Company Limited for reconstruction of the market. In our quest to create an enabling environment to facilitate trade and local economic development at the local level, the ministry aims to facilitate the development of the various markets within the MMDAs into modern markets and retail infrastructure to enhance domestic trading and revenue mobilization. In view of the above, Mr. Speaker, the proposal was forwarded to the Minister of Finance for consideration and further action. Currently, the project has been registered with the Project Identification Unit of the Minister of Finance with Project Preparation Identification Number 222-122-0001. The Assembly, through the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council and the Ministry, is currently working with the prospective investor, and that is BNAB, supported by the Ministry of Finance and the Office of the Attorney General, to complete the public-private partnership arrangement on build, operate, and transfer BOT basis. A pre-feasibility study had been carried out on the project, and the report submitted to the Ministry of Finance. Consequently, the draft BOT concessional agreement has also been reviewed and approved by the Office of the Attorney General and forwarded to the Ministry of Finance for further action. Mr. Speaker, the project duration will be 36 months, which is expected to commence immediately an approval is granted by the Ministry of Finance. The construction stage of the project will be on phase basis and will have a controlled relocation of the traders at an undeveloped part of the project site. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Any supplementary?
Mr. Speaker, I think he has
Sunrise on 3
satisfied
FM, the best in
all
the morning.
questions that I will ask again. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move to question number 6364. Standing in the name of Kwame Apia Kodia Fantiakwano.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I have his authorization to ask.
Please ask.
So, to action the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, the measures implemented for the final completion of the Begro Central Market.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister.
Sunrise on 3 FM, the best in the morning.
Mr. Speaker, the Begro Central Market project is a two-story, 36-unit lockable unit stores awarded at a contract sum of 1,425,000 Ghana cedis and funded under the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program by the then Middle Belt Development Authority. The project is being executed by Mrs. BBB Limited. Information available to me indicates that the project is at 60% completion, fiscal completion rate. Payment to date stands at 866,957 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, the project is among the legacy projects inherited by the Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, following the realignment by His Excellency the President of the Republic in January 2025. Accordingly, the Ministry has initiated the process to take nationwide inventory of all such ongoing projects for completion by various metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. Thank you.
Any supplementary question?
The best in the morning.
Mr. Minister, so what are the timelines for the completion of this project that's dear to the people of Begro?
Yes, Honorable Minister, any timeline?
Mr. Speaker, we have about 2,833 of such uncompleted projects. And therefore, once I said the assemblies will have to embark upon the as legacy project. And that is why in the approval of the formula, we said 20% of the DECF should be allocated for legacy project. So I may not be able to give a definite timeline on behalf of the assembly, but I think they will prioritize among the legacy projects within their jurisdictional areas and prioritize how best they can complete them. That is it. But Mr. Speaker, there is no budget in the ministry's budget.
Yes, any supplementary question?
I'm grateful.
I remember this is constituency specific, but before we move on to another question, let me crave your indulgence to announce the presence of our student visitors and other visitors in our midst. We have Pung Opokli Youth Association led by Joshua Tete, Vice Chairman. They are from Pung Kantamanso, the number 16. We also have Keys Vision Academy, led by Samuel Opong, Primary Head of Department. They are from Trobu constituency, the number 62. Then we have Family Care School, led by Boston Senna, NCC Director. They are from Efutu, the number 50. We also have Unipra South, also led by Boston Senna. They also from Efutu, they also numbered 50. Then we have Crystal Gates International School, led by Mr. N.S. Apreku, Principal Academics. They are from Adentan constituency, they numbered 66. Then we have in our midst Christine Akwete, Winifred King,
Sunrise
Philomena
on 3
Nana
FM. The
Owusu,
best in the morning.
Stephanie Amu, Gloria Amu. They are Ghanaian residents in Belgium, Brussels, and they are here on a visit to Parliament of Ghana. I urge all of you to have a fruitful visit to Parliament. We then move to question number
Sunrise on 3 FM.
365, standing in the name of Maswell Kwame Lokuto, Member of Parliament for Southton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs the plans of the ministry to upgrade the assemblies which were conferred with municipal and metropolitan status in 2024, and when the legislative instrument will be passed for the assemblies to be inaugurated. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the ministry received numerous petitions between 2020 and 2024 requesting the upgrade of some districts and municipalities to municipal and metropolitan status respectively. Following extensive consultation and technical assessment, executive approval was granted by the former president in December 2024, which was widely published. But this could not be laid in Parliament due to transitional processes and other administrative issues. Following the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, thus the legislative instrument LIs to complete the process of upgrading these districts and municipalities as per Section 3.1 of the Local Governance Act 2016, Act 936, could not be laid in Parliament for consideration and passage. Mr. Speaker, as part of effort to assess districts to ascertain their feasibility of being upgraded as pledged in the Resetting Ghana Agenda Manifesto of the NDC government, I have constituted a committee to conduct assessment of all the previous districts and municipalities, as well as those captured in our manifesto, and to make appropriate recommendation for consideration and approval in line with the 1992 Constitution and Act 936. I wish to inform this August House that the committee started its work in December 2025, and I'm reliably informed that the report will be submitted to me by end of this month for consideration and further action in consonance with laid down procedures. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM. Your finest tunes in sync with a soothing voice. 3 Lounge with AJ.
Are you tired of the same old routine? Need a break from the stress and chaos of everyday life? Well, step into the 3 Lounge, your world of absolute relaxation and great music with yours truly, AJ Akwako Sapon. Welcome to the best mid-morning show in the capital and beyond. This is 3 Lounge with yours truly, your radio princess, AJ Akwako Sapon.
Love it. I love it. It's great.
Kickstart your week with Monday motivation, shake off the Tuesday blues, and get ready for midweek mania. Take a trip down memory lane on Throwback Thursday and wrap up the week with Funky Friday with myself and Helen Appiah Ampufo. Plus, enjoy exciting celebrity interviews, insightful conversation, engaging discussions on topics that matter, and there's a boatload of fun and easy activations that reward and appreciate you, our loyal listener.
If you are listening, we're manifesting money into your pocket this morning.
Don't miss out on the excitement. Tune in to 3 Lounge every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. with AJ Akwako Sapon, only on 3FM 92.7.
It's my number one.
92.7 3 FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Sunrise on 3 FM.
3 FM Sunrise.
The Electoral Commission has reiterated its commitment to organizing free and fair elections this December.
How's your week treating you? I'm here to serve you great music tidbit for your at-work listening pleasure.
Rastafari, Rastafari, Rastafari. Our Father, who art in Zion, Kanamawe, Kanamawe, Kanamawe. Oh, turn it up!
Come into the mountains, sight and I grandfather.
It's time to drive you home in style with great music, the 411 and all your favorite songs, what's happening around town, and so much more.
And in the headlines today, the two leading political parties have been addressing the public on allegations of corruption. The Black Stars coach has unveiled his squad for the upcoming games, and there are some interesting names.
Pull up! The weekend is here and it's time to turn up. Get your dancing shoes on, Lego.
We really do have it all. It's a premium mix of information and entertainment every single day on 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
In the silence, something was growing. The journey continues. The calm before the storm. You can't mute a force that was born to speak. You can't bury rhythm. It rewrites itself. Louder. Every signal lost finds its way back to the source. This is not a comeback, it's a recalibration. This is the takeover. This is Trigmatic on 3FM Drive. Driving you home with good vibes, good conversations, and the freshest hits. Hop in, take a ride. Trigmatic on 3FM Drive. 3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
The Electoral Commission has reiterated its commitment to organizing free and fair elections this December.
How's your week treating you? I'm here to serve you great music tidbit for your at-work listening pleasure.
Rastafari, Rastafari, Rastafari. Our Father, who art in Zion, Kanamawe.
And you're live on 3FM 92.7. This is 3FM Sunrise on your morning, and as always, fresh and live just for you. Now, the Mamprobi Polyclinic baby theft issues have come to the fore. We want to have a conversation with HEFRA, that's the Health Facilities Regulatory Authority, and then also have a conversation with an interview that we had with the Director General of the Ghana Health Service. So those are the two quick ones that we'll be doing this morning, and then to also get your input in this national conversation. What exactly should this situation change? It does appear that the focus is on the lady at the center of this conversation, and everybody seems to be forgetting about perhaps the systemic problem that we have. The systemic problem where anybody could just possibly walk into a health facility to the point of grabbing a baby to go away with. Is there a conversation about medical negligence, or is it just another talk shop by the people of the Republic of Ghana? And then we'll get into all those fine details right here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. So, welcome to the big conversation.
The big conversation on 3FM Sunrise. The
charge facility, and we think we should develop a seamless health system where charge and Ghana Health Service will work together. And our patients should not even be worried whether when they go to a facility, whether it's charge or it's Ghana Health Service, all they need is to get the appropriate care. But one remarkable thing about the facility has to do with the work they've done over the years on cervical cancer, and that has been led by Dr. Kofi, who has gallantly over the past 9 years worked very hard, not only to establish the center, but to train many people, about 140 people within the country, in the different districts of our nation. And we think that is a remarkable thing to do. We should be visiting him, give him the best of encouragement, and able to replicate this kind of centers in our regions, take care of our women, because it's totally preventable. And if you look at the cost of preventing it, and the time you take to prevent it, as we saw today, in 15 seconds barely, you can prevent getting cervical cancer, just 15 seconds. 15. Even if you say 1 minute, let's even put it at 1 minute. As to paying 30,000 Ghana cedis for a session of radiotherapy, as to traveling across the country from one end to the other, such a hospital that can take care of that, as to be in a long queue, then it's worth it for us to have this kind of operation and look forward to make sure that our health system moves, and our ladies are in good shape to take care of our kids, take care of their husbands, take care of the elderly, and to be part of this crusade that we want to launch on free primary health care, the Mahama cares, and for our economy, to our nurses, to enable them to have help to attend to the rest of the patient that might come in search for support. But let me also take this opportunity to say that some few days ago, early 24 hours ago, we had a situation in Tarita where a lady's baby was stolen from her. A very regrettable situation. Fortunately, the security services have been able to recover the baby in good health, and the Minister of Health has given strict has given us matching orders as to the way forward in this case, where all our facilities, you have seen the press release, should have the CCTV cameras display. Our security should be up to pin. And I have reiterated that all health facilities, non-negotiable. All doctors and nurses should use their uniform with name tags, as we see in well-established health facilities, so that if all the nurses were in their uniform and with their name tags, the lady would have been easily identified, and this wouldn't have happened. The mother wouldn't have been confused to agree that she is the nurse, as she claimed. If we have all our doctors in their uniform with their name tags, it's very easy to identify and say it was Dr. So and so, or it was nurse so and so. So this is non-negotiable, that all health facilities is just a reminder. We are reiterating it. Should always all health workers should be in their uniform and name tags for easy identification. This is just to add up, to complement what the health minister, mine, was has instructed. On a visit to the Bator Hospital, it's a child facility, and we think we should develop a seamless health system where CHAG and Ghana Health Service will work together, and our patients should not even be worried whether when they go to a facility, whether it's CHAG or it's Ghana Health Service, all they need is to get the appropriate care. But one remarkable thing about the facility has to do with the work they've done over the years on cervical cancer, and that has been led by Dr. Kofi, who has gallantly over the past 9 years worked very hard, not only to establish the center, but to train many people, about 140 people within the country, in the different districts of our nation. And we think that is a remarkable thing to do. We should be visiting him to give him the best of encouragement and be able to replicate this kind of centers in our region,
And that was Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoria, Director General of the Ghana Health Service there, sharing his own perspective and also giving a directive to all health facility workers. Now, Dr. Wilfred Ban is the CEO of HEFRA, the Health Regulatory Authority, Facilities Regulatory Authority, and he joins us on the phone line now. Doc, thank you very much for your time. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
My regards to our listeners.
Absolutely. Now, Doc, this whole conversation about Mamprobi Polyclinic baby theft, where did we drop the ball?
Well, thank you very much. It's quite unfortunate. Safety at the health facilities is very important to us. And every year when we go around monitoring the facilities, we always tell them that security is important. In fact, some time ago, the minister has given a directive that all health facilities must have CCTV cameras for security.
Right.
And these are things that are part of our checklist when we go around. And we try to enforce them. I must say that we haven't been very strict on it. But from now, we are going to be very strict. And I think the minister brought out another circular saying that all health facilities must have CCTV. So going forward, as an agency, we are going to enforce it. Apart from that, we also said that they must have security guards at the entry and exit points to make sure that the security of patients and even staff is guaranteed. And that we are also going to enforce that. Going forward, we also sent a circular some time ago that everybody who is on duty in the hospital must have a name tag properly written, their cadre, their name, and what they do. So the person who went in and impersonated, if they were enforcing the wearing of the name tag, they would probably have seen that this person is not a staff of the hospital. Like I said, all these things gives us an opportunity to improve the system. And so we are going to visit the hospital today, and then afterwards we will bring out some general guidelines to guide the other facilities in the country in that regard.
Does the Mamprobi Polyclinic have HEFRA certification?
Yes, they are registered. Their license will expire in November 2026.
I see. Now, for the uninitiated, what boxes do you take for a facility like the Mamprobi Polyclinic before you give them certification?
So before we give any facility a certificate, number one, you will have to make sure that you have the necessary documents, being one, fire safety. So we look at safety in the first place. So the facility must have a fire safety protocol. So before we come, the fire service must certify you that you are safe when it comes to fire, and that in the case where there's a fire outbreak, we will have means of mitigating. Then we also need a EPA certificate to show that your waste disposal and everything is clear. Apart from that, we look at the human resource.
Right.
And that depends on the level. So for Mamprobi, the polyclinic, not say hospital, but it's licensed as a polyclinic.
Right.
So we need a certain number of doctors, nurses, lab pharmacists, and then the other staff, including security and orderlies. So we check all of that. And then there are professional registrations to make sure they are in good standing with their professional regulators. Apart from that, you also look at the infrastructure. Is it safe for patients to sit in? We want to make sure there are no live wires that will cause fires and then electrical shocks, no cracks, and all of that. Then after that, we also look at equipment. Do you have the necessary equipment that will provide the level of care you are licensed to do that? We look at it. Then you now look at the processes. So, for example, if we had gone to Mamprobi today, we'll be looking at, okay, so which people were on duty. You knew there were 3 midwives on duty. So if you've seen the 4th person, who is in charge? Have you questioned the person? What was the time of the patient arrived, delivery, who took care of the baby, and all of that? So we will have to go through all the processes that go on in terms of taking care of the patient. And those are some of the things we look out for.
You are a very experienced medical doctor, consultant, if you will. Now, not so long ago, we had a situation at a Ridge Hospital where a rotational nurse was said to have, had her shoulder dislocated and hand fractured. The health minister set up a committee, went into it, found out that that was not the case. And then now we have this situation at the Mamprobi Polyclinic where somebody is supposed to be in charge and available to ensure that what happened does not happen. There could be many other examples that people can make reference to. In your opinion, should such people still be practicing? Shouldn't their licenses be revoked?
Yes, so that's why we are going to it. Like I tell you, for everything that happens, we investigate. And then for when people have to be penalized, we will do that. And we'll make that open to you. So give us some time. We have started our investigations. We'll look at where the lapses are. And for me, the most important thing is to put in remedial measures to forestall these occurrences. And not just for Mamprobi, but for all health facilities in Ghana.
So if I hear you right, you're going to investigate this and then apply sanctions if it is found out that somebody was culpable. But exactly. I'm insisting that we had the situation at Ridge Hospital. What sanctions were applied on the individuals, the medical officer who signed off to suggest that a hand was fractured, shoulder was dislocated, the other people who were working there, some doctors went around media houses telling people and corroborating the story, which the health ministers committee found to be untrue. What sanctions have been applied to those people?
So the minister set up that committee and made recommendations. Those recommendations went to their professional councils. So the nurses were sent to their Nursing and Midwifery Council. The doctors were sent to the Medical and Dental Council. So they will be able to tell exactly what happened to them.
So from a HEFRA point of view, you cannot say what punitive actions were applied in this case?
No, in that case, we will not be able to say.
So
usually when there are the individuals involved, you refer them to their professional councils, and they deal with them. We deal with the facility.
Yes, I get your point. But then I'm asking this question in relation to the boxes that you told us a while ago that you tick, that they are supposed to be in good standing with their professional organizations or associations or groupings.
Yes.
Now, in terms of professionalism, patient rights and all of that, someone can say that the patient's rights have been breached, and so somebody must be punished for it. So, for example, if this that happened at Ridge or what had happened at Mamprobi Polyclinic had happened in the UK, people's licenses would have been revoked to serve as a deterrent. Why are we not doing that?
Oh, we do that all the time. We do that all the time. If you talk to Medical and Dental Council, they've revoked a number of licenses due to some of these things. If you talk to Nursing and Midwifery Council, they've done that. So it happens. Maybe they just don't bring them out, but it happens. And I can tell you that when we go into it, those who are culpable, they will have the appropriate sanctions.
Would you consider what happened at Mamprobi to be within the domain of medical negligence?
Well, negligence, I am not sure, but yes, there is some breach of duty, because when somebody comes to your hospital, delivers, the safety of the baby is in the remit of the hospital to make sure that. So yes, I think that there is some breach of duty.
Now let's look at the remedial things that we can put in place immediately. What can we do, or what do you recommend that we do?
Sure. So for others to be safe, I think yesterday my minister released a statement and reinforced the fact that all health facilities must install CCTVs. And very soon we will bring in guidelines, giving them deadlines to install the CCTVs. Of course, and then the guidelines, because you also don't want to also breach privacy. So it's not everywhere they can be. Then also enforce the security and at the hospitals, and also the compulsory wearing of name tags and the and then the appropriate apparels for every like for nurses, doctors, and you need to wear the appropriate apparels. So those ones too, we are going to enforce them. We think that these are a few of the things we can do to forestall some of this, so nobody can come in and impersonate, and then nobody can come and pick somebody's baby without anybody recognizing it. It's not right, and it must not happen again.
Look, you will remember not so long ago, we had this conversation about CCTV installations in all police stations in this country. I can tell you on good authority that it has not happened in most of the instances and most of the stations. So how do we then come back with another CCTV conversation because an issue happened? Somebody died, Chief Inspector Ashilevi died, and then we said we're going to install CCTV cameras in all police stations. Up until today, that has not happened. So are we getting another promise that will not be delivered?
Thank you. I can assure you that we are going to enforce. Once my minister has given the directive, I will make sure that it is enforced. So we will come out very soon and give the hospitals deadlines to fit CCTVs. And I will update you, Joy FM.
This is actually 3FM.
Oh, sorry, this is 3FM.
Yes, it is 3FM. Now, the other question is about those facilities that are working without the proper authorization, for example, from your office. Recently, the Akawi clinic came into a conversation. People were being treated there, but they did not have the requisite certification. How do I know that a facility is properly certified for me to go and receive service there and put my life in the hands of those who work there in those facilities that are not certified?
Sure. Yes. So you remember last year we embarked on an exercise,
right,
to close down unsafe facilities that are operating without a license, and this exercise we are continuing it. But it is mandatory for every health facility to display their HEFRA license. And so every patient who walks into any hospital, you have the right to ask them that I want to see your HEFRA license. If they refuse, just kindly send us a message. Or go to our website, just send us a message. And then we will take it up. Because that alone is a breach of the law. Also, you can also go to our website, and then you'll be able to find if they are licensed or not. Our licenses now have some security features, including a QR code. So when you go, you can just scan it, and if it's authentic, you will see it.
I see. Now, there's also the growing conversation about for example, pharmacists, some clinics, people who work there who may not be thoroughly qualified. And again, I'll make reference to the Akawe situation. in that instance, do I go asking the individual providing the service if they are qualified? Because obviously they will not be walking around with their certificates.
Exactly. So if you have any questions, usually they have a hospital administrator. If you are not sure of somebody, you can approach them and say, I want to know if this person is licensed. You can ask the individual, but you can also ask for the hospital administrator or the doctor in charge and said, I think that I am not sure about this person and I want to know. It is your right, and they should be able to give you that information. And anytime you look for information you don't get, just contact HEFRA. We have regional offices. They will get in for you.
Dr. Winfred Bang, I thank you very much indeed for your time this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Great.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Winfred Bang. He is the CEO of HEFRA, and he joined us here with some knowledge that we all should know. So now you know it's your right to enter a facility and actually demand to be shown the HEFRA certification so that you know that you are receiving care from a facility that is authorized to provide the facility, the services that you are actually going to seek. Much indeed for your time.
Good morning, sir.
Sir.
How's life?
I'm alive. It's my good friend.
For some time now.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you doing this morning, sir?
Oh, I'm good. And greetings to your listeners and greetings from Kumasi, Ashanti region.
That's right. Now, you are National Vice Chairman of the Ghana Coalition of NGOs in Health.
Yes,
what do you think of what has happened at Mamprobi Polyclinic?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a worrying trend. It has been surfacing once in a while, and it's one too many. And we think that we have to, as Ghana Coalition of NGOs in Health, we have to take it as a very serious matter. And if we look at the trend for the past years, it normally happened to vulnerable women. Vulnerable women in the sense that though they call middle class or low class women who go to deliver. And it's very disturbing and worrying in the sense that I don't believe those who are engaged in those things are doing it as individuals. It should be like a cartel or a group of people who exploit and take advantage of maternity homes or where they need to look at the environment, study critically, get an insider, and then operate.
So you think this is an inside job?
Matter.
You think this is an inside job?
Oh, with all indication, because when you look at it, it's an inside. There's an inside that someone is cooperating with them from inside within, and because it's always happening in public hospitals, the idea is that the security situation is low,
right?
And then maybe the policy gap, which we have to actually coalition of NGOs have to look at it again and see if there's a policy gap as to what are the requirements for a woman who goes in labor should do. I think it's high time we look at policy and make sure that either the husband or the husband representative should go along with the woman and put her eye, because someone can give birth and collapse. You understand? Before she wake up, they say your child is dead or your child cannot be found. So look at the policy particular about this incident and then see if there's a gap. There should be a second person to watch over the baby. The woman may give birth, finish, say, I'm going to bath. Then you leave the place and to go and take a shower. You can't find the child. So there's a lot of things we have to look at it. And also improve the security. As for name tags, anybody can write a name tag and go, that's a nest. So the solution to this problem, and they are happening in all the government public facilities. Have you heard any child being stolen in any public facility? Currently, we have a isolated ward where they can afford to pay. But this one, where they are all in the same room, they are all dumped there. They dump the babies there. And anything can happen. So you call for thorough investigation. They shouldn't just hold the person responsible. The security agency should go a further step to try to unlock those who are accomplices. And that way, and if they are caught, they should severely punish to serve as a deterrent. But apart from being served as a deterrent, it is high time for Ghana Health Service, Ministry of Health and Ghana Health Service, to look at the policy guiding a woman going to labor.
I see. What could really be the motivation for another woman or man to steal a baby who has just been born? What have you been finding out?
Yes. So there are so many factors that encouraging that. One is a sociocultural factors. Like you go, sometimes I just take a walk to private facility.
Right.
And you can see the number of women who are lined up to do IVF or to do whatever they can. They don't even succeed. And then the marriage is breaking because of that. Ghanaian and African culture, married without the fruit of a child is like there's no marriage.
Right.
So the couple will go all length to go and get a child. And they don't want to go in to adopt a child because they can't bring a grown up to the child. So the woman will just pretend, put some racks in the stomach, say she's pregnant, and they steal a baby for the person, and the person is then nurse it and have it as a child. That's one of the factors. Apart from that, too, the people are making it as a commercial venture. They go to make money. Oh, I promise I can get you a newly born baby for this amount of money. So the money will be distributed along the value chain to ensure that they actually pick the child from somebody who has given birth, vulnerable who has given birth, and go and sell it out, and they will share. So both economic and social contract factors are the main cause of this attitude.
Selling the child for rituals, or selling the child to keep the child and raise the child, knowing that it is not yours?
Yeah, but for selling a child both for rituals, and the rituals are possible, but the rituals are to a greater extent are getting less than those who desperately need children as a family. And they are not prepared because of the social stigma. They are not prepared to go and adopt a already grown up child.
What do you say to the suggestion that the lady in question could be having a mental issue, and so psychiatrists should be brought in rather than trying to punish her through the law. What do you say to that?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that this call for a thorough investigation. And what we mean by thorough, I'm looking at it from all angles, from the psychological point of view,
right,
to the social, economic, and cultural point of view,
right.
Because somebody looking at what I saw on the social media, if that how she dressed, I don't think this person have a psychological problem. Because the way I saw, maybe the clips I saw might be wrong, but here's exactly what I saw. This is a person who has actually planned and executed something she planned. But we cannot rule out psychological part. They should investigate all aspects of life and investigate and see whether she did it solely or it's a cartel. Because I know an Accra used to happen at this the other place, the popular place there. And now it's at Tema General Hospital.
Right.
We used to hear a lot from that place. Now it is moved to Mamprobi Hospital. Who know the next facility to go to?
You mean these facilities have recorded children getting missing after they have been born?
Yes. So it's a very disturbing news. And then it comes, we talk and then relax. And then with time, they will study the environment, then they will strike again. They will talk and relax. The other one said that it is high time coalition NGOs. I'm calling for it to review the policy that guide child delivery. Because of congestion, they will allow the woman to be there. You understand? And that one, the person may give birth, after giving birth, so many things can happen. He can have so many conditions. And take the eye off the baby. So there should be a second eye temporarily, because the cameras are there, they are blurred, you can't see it, they can't play them back. There's no security in the facility, and the nurses themselves don't know themselves, because there are so many people click out, those who are doing rotation, those who are permanent, those who are so many. So you cannot actually begot the HR division of the unit.
Let's take a look at the Ridge Hospital situation, and I'm sure you remember that. That's in recent time. Where a medical officer, knowing full well that the information he has put or she has put on the report or captured in the report, suggesting that somebody's arm has been dislocated and the hand has been broken or fractured, and still signed it off. But that individual, well, I don't know, but could still be working within the health sector. How does your association receive that news?
You know, our association is just set up to ensure that we have better quality health services.
Right.
So anything that negates, that try to, and then not only better, give equality, that is equity. Anything that go against even patient charter is a matter of concern to us. And we are doing advocacy, engaging at high-level meetings. And fortunately, we attend most of the high-level meetings where we raise some of the issues at the table. Then we try to see how best we can also play a role to solve it. We don't only criticize, we don't only talk, but also try to put suggestions on the table so that we'll see how, if it's implemented, see what we can able to eliminate or limit the problem so that healthcare can be a place where you can get what you desire, not to go to a health center and leave the place miserable.
Do we take medical negligence serious in this country?
Well, the level of technology is affecting medical negligence, because there are so many things. But if we raise that issue and go to court, and we don't have so many lawyers who are medically inclined to justify and prove your case for you. So anybody who take the case against medical negligence finally ends up by losing the case. But gradually, Ghana is changing. There are so many things come on board. And I know within the next possible years, medical negligence will be something when somebody's involved, will actually be put to task to respond and answer for the negligence. It's happening. People are dying. And even I myself, my son, he nearly died out of overdose from a medical doctor. He prescribed that my child was just quite young, fell sick. I was in Accra, and they took her to the nearest hospital, and the doctor prescribed overdose medicine for the child. Fortunately, I arrived, I look at the history, I said, no, if you are taking this injection, why is he taking this drugs again? So I told my wife to went there. The doctor apologized to us, and we drew the drugs.
And
so assuming that the person,
you didn't
the person
take
was ignorant. I didn't take action because I went, because it was a private facility. I went and met the management, spoke with them, and then we discussed at length. And they promised me so many things to do. But later when I went there, that particular person was no longer coming to do locum there. I tried tracing. But when the person finished, I don't know where the person had been posted to or where the person was again. So I left the issue to them. But at least, therefore, he will now be careful as to what he writes. Because I was privileged to read. I was privileged because I could read and write, and I know a little bit of medicine. So I looked at it and I saw that no, you are giving the child this injection, and you say in truth they should give her these drugs. And I went. So that was so. There are so many things happening in the health sector, and sometimes the negligence is sometimes caused by pressure. So they cannot withstand pressure. They are doctors, all right, but they are not trained to be emotionally stable. You understand? They don't have that personal
under pressure.
Yeah, they're under pressure. So sometimes I know a case around 1997 or so, Mensha Government Hospital in Kumasi here. An adult went and the doctor wrote a syrup for the adult. So later when I went to the pharmacy shop to buy, then they asked why, then because they saw the age was 45. And they saw that. Then they went by the doctor. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so tired, exhausted. I've been here since the morning. And then he then collected and rewrote a new prescription for the person. So the pressure on them to sometimes affect for those who are not emotionally stable to make a serious mistake. They are not listening. Because if you make a mistake, it's a very grievous one. So there are so many there are so many things we have to come together. Now we are now forging for One Health, where different aspects of how does the road accident affect health delivery, how does means of MOFA affect health delivery, how does veterinary affect health delivery. This is the area we are now going towards, and when we have to form these synergies, we think that we will make advances towards health delivery in the country.
How does your organization support people who may have experienced medical negligence but are vulnerable, may not have the wherewithal or the financial muscle to go to court to get justice for themselves? How do you support them?
Yeah, so in terms of support, let me go with the negligence aspect. We are not also financially sound to engage a pro bono lawyer for the person. But what we normally do is that what we have done very well and successfully are those who are not able to pay for the health service. That will go and negotiate with the social welfare, and they trigger that policy who says that if a patient go to seek a health care and is not able to pay, the doctor and the social psychology department must go and assess the family background and see if it is true they have a challenge, then they write off the debt. We have that one coalition. We've done more than I can't count number of people assist in that way. But with the engagement of a lawyer for litigation against this, we haven't made serious strides in that, and we are considering it in our programs. So we are now trying. We have one medical doctor lawyer who have been roped into our board. So we are now discussing with him to see how best we can become a policy. Because merely become our policy, we were mandated to do that. so that anybody who was responsible, you have a document that supports your action. So that it doesn't look as if you are doing something. So currently, he's drafting the policy for us to have it as a document, as a working document for the coalition.
My closing question to you is that the health minister has given certain directives. The Ghana Health Service boss has also given certain directives. HEFRA boss says that, well, thorough investigations will happen. But what do you see? Do you see anything coming out of this, or is it just going to be another talk shop?
Yes, I think to a greater extent, we are supposed to be the voice of the voiceless. So we have assigned one of our members who works at Mamprobi to follow up on the issue, and we shall follow it to the end. And at the end, if we are not satisfied, we'll organize a press conference to that effect. So these are things we put in place. So if I find a member who works in Mamprobi Enclave, so he's going to follow with the eagle eye, and then definitely we'll have a meeting with the Minister of Health, and then their distance. We shall be raising it at our meetings, technical working group meetings, to ensure that we will see the final report, and we appeal to the journalists to make a follow up. We shouldn't just talk after 1 or 2 weeks. Then let's go after journalists after 2-3 weeks, 1 month. We'll go and find out what the state, which state have they reached, and that one to put them on tools. Because you will have the voice, your voice go far and wide. So definitely we are not going to leave the case to rest. We are going to do our best to ensure that we unravel the mystery behind this issue and to serve as a benchmark to forestall such occurrences in other health facilities throughout the country.
I thank you very much indeed for your time this morning, but a message just came in that, well, in the UK, the responsible pharmacist for the day is required by law to display their license in a visible location in the facility for all to see. Without it, no dispensing or sale of medication can take place. Can Ghana do that?
We can do it. We can do it. As I said, it is a policy issue. That's why I said we are looking at as I said, currently we've called for their policy on maternity policy. How so a patient should be treated. They want to analyze it critically. They still can extend to all facilities. You see, we need to look at. We have a lot of policies, but are they really implemented? And which are the gaps that are identified? So we are going to go through some of these things, and from time to time we'll have what we call a policy brief. So we engage the stakeholders, and then we'll see how far Ghana can go. Because now we are talking about it is high time we maximize our potentials, because within the next 3 or 4 years, donor partners will move out of Ghana, and health delivery will solely be the responsibility of the government. And we cannot waste our country resources on matters like this. So it calls for us to revisit all health policies, a patient charter, to see if there's a need for it to make to fill some gaps or identify some gaps and fill it. So we are on process. It's a long process. It's a process, but it takes some time. But definitely we are bent on it, because we are part of the roadmap for existing Ghana from the Global Fund by 2030. We are among the technical working group, and we are looking at all these options.
Okay. I thank you very much for your time. Nisao Dako Alaza is the National Vice Chairman of the Ghana Coalition of NGOs in Health. We're grateful for your time this morning.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir.
Okay.
The big conversation on 3FM Sunrise.
Joseph Gold Armstrong Alogbe is a reporter here at Media General, and yesterday he went to the Mamprobi Enclave where this unfortunate incident happened. Joseph, good morning and thank you for your time.
Good morning, Johnny.
What did you find yesterday when you went to Mamprobi?
Johnny, so yesterday I got to Sukura, to be precise. Mamprobi was where the incident took place, but where the lady involved lives is at Sukura. That is where she lives with a husband.
Right.
I'm told she's married to one man and she happens to be the second wife to that man. Yesterday, I have to go through a lot of this to just locate where she was staying because everybody was just scared to open up. They first directed me to Dansuman, that's where she lives. I went there, it was a lie. I came back, Mamprobi is a lie. Then finally, one person said, okay, you go to Sukura. Even that Sukura, it took me more than 3 hours before I finally got to the exact location where she was. Meanwhile, where I was standing was right where she lives, but nobody was open up to speak. Finally, but there's one thing that caught my attention. Almost everybody, even though they claim they don't know where she stays, they all have something good to say about this lady, that she's a very good woman. She's humble. Her human relation in the area is superb, and they are really surprised this has happened to her. Just that they cannot show me where she stays. You know, and I'm sure if she was a bad person, everybody would have been in haste to direct us to where she lives. But you could see because they thought they felt she's a good person, they were not willing to open up to tell me where she was. But yesterday, finally, when I got to the house, I realized that the husband was not home. I'm told he's also going through a lot. I mean, he's traumatized with all the incidents because when the wife brought the baby to the house, he was surprised himself because when did you give birth? He never told me you were going to the hospital to deliver. When did this happen? And it took the alleged woman's sister to open up that, look, my sister is lying. This baby doesn't belong to her, and that is somebody's baby. Then immediately they have to call the Dansman police to come in for the baby, which led to the woman's arrest subsequently. So exactly that's what happened yesterday when I got to the residence.
What was the woman's demeanor yesterday when you met the lady in question?
Yesterday, we met her at the Dansman police station. Her demeanor clearly shows that maybe they would have to examine her. I don't know, but she didn't look like somebody who really has any regrets or do anything. She was okay. She wasn't perturbed. She was just normal. And she kept her fingers in her mouth. She wasn't saying anything. She wasn't sad. She wasn't happy. She was just normal, just like that, you know. So maybe beyond what people are saying and what she has done, maybe some medical officers can also be deployed to maybe take her through some tests and see what really might have gone wrong or happened and why she wants to do that. Because I'm told that she just married barely a year and the husband is not really putting any pressure on her to give her a child because the woman herself has 2 children already. I'm told she has 2 boys already. The man she's married to also has children already. So they are surprised that she has to go to a hospital to kidnap somebody's baby. It's quite strange. So exactly, seeing her yesterday, she didn't look like somebody who had any regrets or even knows what she has done. Johnny.
Now, is she in the custody of the police?
Yeah, she's still in the custody of the Dansman police. We are told that she will be sent to the court later today.
I see. Armstrong, we thank you very much indeed for your time. But before you go, we earlier saw some relatives and friends who had gone to the Mamprobi clinic to, as it were, show solidarity for the victim and also to help. Did you meet any of them there in that area?
No, I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't go to the polyclinic. I went straight to the police station and also the residence of the alleged baby kidnapper. Johnny.
Joseph Armstrong, you also spoke with what? The traders in the Burkina conversation?
We are currently here at the 37 Military Hospital, as I speak to you now, with the CDS and then that of the service chiefs. They are here to pay visits to the women that were caught in the Burkina Faso attack sometime this week. So we are yet to hear from the CDS and then also that of the service chiefs that are all gathered here.
Thank you very much, Armstrong. We're grateful.
The big conversation on 3FM Sunrise.
Let's go back to the earlier conversation with the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoreye, and hear his thoughts about all of what is happening and what reforms possibly could come out of this.
The hospital is a charge facility, and we think we should develop a seamless health system where charge and Ghana Health Service work together. And our patients should not even be worried whether they go to a facility, whether it's charge or it's Ghana Health Service. All they need is to get the appropriate care. But one remarkable thing about the facility has to do with the work they've done over the years on vital cancer. And that has been led by Dr. Kofi, who has gallantly over the past 9 years worked very hard, not only to establish the center, but train many people, about 140 people within the country, in the different districts of our nation. And we think that is a remarkable thing to do. We should be visiting him, give him the best encouragement, and able to replicate this kind of centers in our regions, take care of our women, because it's totally preventable. And if you look at the cost of preventing it, and the time you take to prevent it, as we saw today, in 15 seconds barely, you can prevent getting cervical cancer. There's 16 seconds, 15. Even if you say 1 minute, let's include that 1 minute. As to paying 30,000 Ghana cedis for a session of radiotherapy, as to traveling across the country from one end to the other in search of a hospital that can take care of that, as to be in a long queue, that is what it has to have this kind of operation and look forward to make sure that our health system moves and our ladies are in good shape to take care of our kids, take care of their husbands, take care of our elderly, and to be part of this crusade that we want to launch on free primary health care, the Hammer cares, and for our economy, to our nurses, to enable them to have help to attend to the rest of the population that might come in for support. But let me also take this opportunity to say that some few days ago, early 24 hours ago, we had a situation in Qatar where a lady was stolen from her. A very regrettable situation. Fortunately, the Secret Service has been able to recover the lady in good health, and the Minister of Health has given strict has given us marching orders as to the way forward in this case, where all our facilities, you might have seen the press release, should have the CCTV cameras display. Our security should be up and running. And I have reiterated that all health facilities, non-negotiable, all doctors and nurses should use their uniform with name tags, as we in well-established health facilities, so that if this lady, if all the nurses were in their uniform and with their name tags, the lady would have easily identified, and this wouldn't happen. The mother wouldn't have confused to agree that she's the nurse as she claimed. If we have all our doctors in their uniform, their name tags, it's very easy to identify and say it was Dr. So-and-so, or it was nurse so-and-so. So this is non-negotiable. That all health facilities is just a reminder we are reiterating it. Should always all health workers should be in their uniform and name tags for easy identification. This is just add up complement what health minister mind was instructed. Visit to the Borough Hospital. It's a charge facility, and we think we should develop a seamless health system where charge and health service work together. And our patients should not even be worried whether when they go to a facility whether it's charge or it's Ghana Health Service.
The big conversation on 3FM Sunrise.
The past 9 years worked very hard not only to establish the center but to train many people, over 140 people within the country in the different districts of our nation. And we think that is a remarkable thing to do. We should be visiting him to give him the best of encouragement and be able to replicate this kind of centers in our regions to take care of our women. Because it's totally preventable. And if you look at the cost of preventing it and the time you take to prevent it, as we saw today, in 15 seconds barely, you can prevent a lady getting cervical cancer, just 16 seconds, 15. Even if you say 1 minute, let's even put it at 1 minute, as to paying 30,000 Ghana cedis for a session of radiotherapy, as to traveling across the country from one end to the other in search of a hospital that can take care of that, as to be in a long queue, then it's worth it for us to have this kind of collaboration and look forward to make sure that our health system improves and our ladies are in good shape to take care of our kids, to take care of their husbands, to take care of our elderly, and to be part of this crusade that we want to launch on free primary health care, the Mahama Cares, and 24-hour economy to our nurses to enable them to have good health to attend to the rest of the population that might come in search for support. But let me also take this opportunity to say that some few days ago, early 24 hours ago, we had a situation in Greater Accra region where a lady's baby was stolen from her. A very regrettable situation. Fortunately, the security services have been able to recover the baby in good health, and the Minister of Health has given us marching orders as to the way forward in this case, where all our facilities, you might have seen the press release, should have the CCTV cameras display. Our security should be up and
Getting to our second big conversation right now.
The big conversation on 3FM Sunrise.
Yesterday, conversations began and it got everybody talking because we do know that sometime last year in December, the President of the Republic of Ghana had cause to forward the petition for the removal of the EC boss, Madam Jean Mensah, and the two deputies, that's Dr. Bosman Asari and also Mr. Tete, and then for the removal of the OSP. So essentially, what the Chief Justice, His Lordship Paul Bafoboni, supposed to do, his task, was to establish that there's a prima facie case to be established removal of the Electoral Commission boss, along with the two deputies and the OSP. Now, the petition, in fact, multiple petitions seeking to have the individuals I've mentioned removed. Well, consequently, He has written to the President of the Republic, that's the Chief Justice, has written to the President of the Republic on the petitions, indicating that 7 petitions seeking the dismissal of the electoral commissioners and 3 against the special prosecutor do not warrant any further investigations for the removal of the constitutional and statutory office holders. So the letter, which was issued on dated January 26, 2026, the Chief Justice, his Lordship, told His Excellency the President that, well, no prima facie has been established, so the petitions do not warrant. Now, who sent these petitions? We know that lawyer Martin Pebu has been interested in this conversation. We know others who have also been interested in this. What does the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana say relative to this matter in terms of this process? Marina, where is this grounded in law?
So Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution, particularly Clause 3, details what happens in the case of other persons, right? Within the category of persons of Article 71 office holders and others, and that's where I will go to, because that process is steeped in along those lines. But also, just by way of additional information, there's been a lot of talk about whether or not the president is the one who dismissed the petition against the individuals. So that has to be put on record that per the process in law as we know it, it is the sole preserve of the Chief Justice. They are responsible for looking at the petition and determining whether or not there's a prima facie evidence against the persons who the petition has been brought against, right? And it is upon their determination that the president will act. And the president has no say whatsoever in a determination in that regard. And so, per what it is that we know, if the president receives a petition for the removal of a superior court other than the Chief Justice, or the removal of a chairman of a tribunal, he shall refer the petition to the Chief Justice, who shall determine whether or not there is a prima facie case. And in this instance, that's where it ends. There was no determination of such.
That's right.
And the CJ wrote to the president stating that there was no basis or evidence upon which they can proceed, where a committee will have to be set up. And remember, we've been here before. Charlotte Osei.
That's right.
Chief Justice
then. Yes.
Sophia Kufu.
Tokonu. Yes, I remember that. Yes, in the matter of Charlotte Osei.
Charlotte Osei, Sophia Kufu was the Chief Justice then. She determined there was a prima facie case, and subsequently a committee was set up where Madame Charlotte Osei appeared before the committee, and then the conclusion was that they found evidence against her stated misbehavior, and hence she was relieved of her position. This Chief Justice has looked at the petitions, arrived at the conclusion that there is no prima facie evidence against the stated persons, hence there will be no need for the setup of a committee to investigate the claims. That brings an end to all of this. And it is important to state that the president may at all times in relation to this process abide by what the Chief Justice or the committee's recommendation will be. That's why in the case of Madame Tokonu, when the committee recommended her removal from office,
the president had to
he had no say. All he has to do is act on it, and then that's the end.
Well, one of the petitioners, if you like, the one who started all this, is an employee of the Electoral Commission, Joseph Blankson. Edumazi. He petitioned the president to remove the EC chair and her 2 deputies. And at the time, he was not so happy about the tenure and how the 3 individuals have conducted himself. I can just imagine how disappointed he would be now, given the
returning
fact
to the office, and he had been interdicted.
That's right. Now
over the missing, is it stolen BVDs or missing BVD machine at the registry of the Electoral Commission, and he had questions to answer. And after his interdiction, he was to return to the office and what have you, and he filed for the woman to be removed along with her deputy. So we'll watch his return to the office and see how it goes as well.
Well, I guess that this may open the floodgates for a lot more petitions. A lot more petitions. And that's where the big conversation is at this point. Okay. Now, the Election Watch Ghana are connecting with us on the phone line in a bit, and we will get to hear their side of the story, how they received this news.
The big conversation on 3FM Sunrise.
Good morning, Mr. Usa, and thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, Johnny, and thank you for having me.
What are you not happy about in terms of the processes that were followed? The Chief Justice saying that there's no prima facie against the 4 individuals mentioned in those petitions for them to be removed, and why they will not be removed and continue to stay in office.
Let me say a very good morning to you once again and to our cherished listeners. I think that yesterday we demonstrated our greatest disappointment in the reasons behind the fact that the Chief Justice could not establish a prima facie to suspend the Electoral Commissioner of Ghana. We want to state emphatically and make it clear that the perception, which is widely evidential in the minds of Ghanaians, that the EC is not transparent and accountable, still remains, and that the decision yesterday does not exonerate the incompetence and the bias of the Electoral Commission. We are saying this because, at one breath, we are looking at how the government intends to prioritize institutional stability over electoral integrity. And we are all aware that in some few years back, the judiciary faced a lot of challenges with the Ghanaian people, coupling with loss of trust and credibility for the judiciary. It is the same way the Ghanaian people who had these loss of trust in the judiciary had also for the Electoral Commission. And if today, the very things that Madam Ketitokonu did had led to suspension, then the Commission is no far from same punishment or law. Again, it will be detriment on our democracy to look at prioritizing institutional stability over the misconduct of the electoral officers we have. Those conducts have communicated to the loss of trust that the Ghanaian people have for the Commission. And it is so dangerous for the Chief Justice of Ghana to state that indeed there were some challenges with constitutional and administrative issues of the Electoral Commission.
Right.
However, that does not warrant or give or establish any prima facie to warrant their suspension.
And the reason is that these individuals are serving either in a constitutional or statutory organization, and so cannot be removed. Because if you know, for example, the OSP has protection of tenure, EC as well, so you can't just toss them out of the office. No.
You remember Charlotte Osei was removed from office. Didn't she have a tenure of office for protection? Yeah. But the fact will still remain. And the Constitution allows that if your actions and inactions, okay, goes contrary to your office ethics, as enshrined in the Constitution, petitions will be raised and the President will look at it where a prima facie will be established by the Chief Justice, a committee formed, investigations conducted, and the outcome of that report be checked by the President. If the Chief Justice have established clearly that there were constitutional and administrative breaches, however, it does not meet the threshold, then what is the threshold? Did we use same threshold when suspending Madam Charlotte Osei? I'm not trying to just suppose what happened in the past and today. But what I'm saying is that Madam Jane Mensah, through the administrative decisions, denied the people of Santo Piakpafu and Lolobi the opportunity to have a representation in Parliament. Is that not enough to constitute a prima facie when we clearly know that this is an infringement of the right of the people of Santo Lolobi and Apap? Democracy is expected to be taken to the doorsteps of our people. And so every decision, administrative decision you take, must inure to the benefit and the success of our democracy.
But the Chief Justice is working within the confines of the law. Mr. President received the petitions. It was transmitted to him as by law. Now he can't find a prima facie, in this circumstance. So the process ends there. What will be your next step?
Well, we think that perhaps the petitions submitted before the Chief Justice did not meet the threshold they have mentioned. As a CSO, we also have a different issues and allegations that we're going to put together as a petition and submit. And we will make sure we follow through to ensure that we establish every necessary evidence that will warrant a prima facie to be established in order to get them sacked from office.
So, if I hear you clearly, you are going to re-petition. Is that the case?
Exactly.
I hear you. Now, the other question that comes to mind is that some suspect that these actions are being taken and they have been politically masterminded. Is that the case?
Well, that may be the position of others. But our position is that Madam Jane Mensah have demonstrated clear incompetence and has been biased. She had shied away from transparency and accountability for over a time. We cannot defeat an institutional organization like the Electoral Commission into the hands of Madam Jane Mensah, who is unable to put tabulations together and come to tell us that they use Coral Draw. We cannot leave such an institution in the hands of the incompetent Jane Mensah, whose administrative decision led to the killings of about 7 innocent souls during a collating of votes in Techman South. These are evidence, and I am surprised the Chief Justice is saying they did not establish any. These are public knowledge. I'm sorry. You see, what is going to happen is that we are demonstrating and going to aid people to take their own decision during the electoral process.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the incompetency of one does not bring about any punishment. Meanwhile, it has their consequence on our democracy. For example, win a presidential election, you need 50% plus one.
That's right.
In the glaring of the general public, Madam Jane Mensah and her cohort in 2020 general election announced multiple times the results. It can only happen in Ghana. It can only happen in Ghana. And so the commission is such that people who are appointed there should be top notch. They should be fit for purpose. They should carry some level of moral and integrity. But for what we have, I am very sorry. They are not fit for purpose.
Mr. Ewusi Ako, we'll leave it here this morning. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you too.
The big conversation on 3FM Sunrise.
out of the studio to make way for and then the three will go to Central Region as the 21st of March. Asim Manso Slave River, the Cape Coast Castle, have lunch on the coast, lunch on the beach, exotic one, and they will have dinner and live band at Ridge Royal Hotel. And then day 4 will still be in Central Region. Well, Crown Forest Vacation, Safari Water Sports, Quad Biking, Horse Riding, Archery Pool and Games, Tree Planting, and with the Forestry Commission. And they will return to Accra. Now, if you're single, you only pay 6,500 cedis per. If you want to share, which some people too will come very prepared to share, 5,500 cedis per. And then couples pay 10,500 cedis per. It's affordable. 4 regions: Eastern, Ashanti, Central Region. 2 days in the Central Region, 1 day in the Eastern Region. So we're taking you on a tour. Every day Dubai. No. Please register 053-1100-927. That's 053-1100-927. That's 0247-120-633. That's 0247-120-633. Don't watch Ghana. Experience it. We don't want you to just want you to feel it, experience it. Now, those who have never been on a canopy walkway before, those who have never been to Lake Bosontwe before, Nisha Palace, they've never seen the place before. Some people are even afraid to go on the beach. We will show you something small. I say a happy birthday to you. If it's your birthday today, we wish you all the best, God's blessings and more excitement and joy in your life. If it's your birthday today, happy birthday to you. But the very first one is to WO1, Anand Frank of Chief of Staff Office. I pray for God to continue blessing you. And this is from WO1 Abankwam Eric of the Ghana Military Police. Also a happy birthday to a very own, happy birthday to the strongest mom on earth, Auntie Felicia Boating, from your beloved daughter Esther Koko Dali. I love you so much. I pray for long life and good health for you. Happy birthday, Auntie. Also, happy 70th birthday. Man has fulfilled scripture. Daddy Victor Apienyo. And may your life shine in God's love. May the new decade be filled with joy, health, and peace. The Lord bless you and keep you and give you peace. Numbers 6:24 to 26. Psalm 23 verse 1:18 to 22. This is from your son Jeff and the entire team. When people start quoting Bible like that. So this one is Numbers 6:24 to 26. It's not Numbers 6:26 to 24. Yeah, but however you want to read it, you feel. Hello, Nora. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Nice one. What's in the basket for news this morning?
Well, we have a couple of things, including the Ramadan that has just
That's right.
So,
Lent is also started. Lent started yesterday.
Right.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
But it was officially announced last night. So.
Right. No, Lent started on Ash Wednesday. We started ours.
Oh, you mean
Ash,
okay.
So we'll do tackle. Don't worry.
I see.
40 days for us, and you do 30 days.
30. Right.
That's how I. Yeah. Now we are praying for Ghana. Giddy. We pray that it will change some people's minds to stop being corrupt.
Amen.
And indisciplined. But my name is John Hughes. I've been here with Mawena Egbeta. Eric, also Jerome and Corey and DJ Phil and 62 Stone Ulo. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good morning.